god, it's so stupid. My bad. Oh, is it working now? Oh, I'm so stupid.
It's not
Sorry.
working.
Audio was
I thought I had you on
broken
mute.
because OBS is
It's working.
dumb.
It's working.
It, it reset my audio devices for some. That's why I wasn't getting retention. Oh my god. Okay, whatever.
I thought you were on mute. I thought I muted your stream because I'm in the call, but I guess it
Yep.
wasn't on mute.
Yeah, I fixed it. We're good. But how do I hit these timings? With a nice speed eye kit and a really good 3600 IMC
I gotta go.
and a really good, yeah, that's basically it. Yep. Also being a good memory overclocker as well. Alatron is a very good memory overclocker. Okay. I prefer VC/stream because it's easier for me to help other people at the same time. How does the fabric clock work? The same way any other clock domain works, you know? There's has a clock speed and it has a ceiling, and when you hit that ceiling, it gets unstable. What GPU should he get? He wants to run games at 144 Hz 1080p. Um I would either get a used GPU like a 1070 or something like that for like 150. Or you could get a 2060 for like 300 from EVGA and then use Step Up to get like a 3060 in the near future. Or you can get, yeah, you can get a 5600 XT for like 230 or something if that goes on sale. Um, but what I would not recommend is buying like a 5700 XT or a 5700 at this time. I think somebody recommended that to you. That's not a good recommendation at this time. Um, yeah, I would really suggest coming back, you know, if you can, maybe wait for the 3060 to come out. Why is the 5700/XT dead? Because the 3060 and 6700 XT are no doubt going to replace that GPU very soon, and Step Up exists probably in 1 or 2 months. So EVGA has this program where if you have a GPU and it's a nice program, I think. It's, I don't think any other manufacturer has replicated it, but it's basically a program where if you have a GPU from an old generation and a new generation just came out, if you register for Step Up, the program itself, within 90 days of originally purchasing, so let's say you have a 1080 and you bought it for $530, and 2 months later the 2080 Ti comes out, and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have bought the 1080. I want the 2080 Ti. Or maybe you knew it was coming out, but you needed a GPU right away. What Step Up allows you to do is get any GPU that is an upgrade from your GPU. You can send in your old GPU and pay the difference in price for the new GPU. So if you have a 1080 and you spent like $530 on it and a 2080 Ti is $1,000, you send them your 1080, you get the 2080 Ti, and you have to pay like $470, which is the difference in price. And an example here would be like, let's say you buy 2060 for 300 and the 3060 is 350. You buy 2060 now, within 90 days the 3060 comes out, you register for Step Up, and you send your 2060 in, you pay $50 and you get the 3060. So pretty nice. You just pay the difference in cost. Pretty cool. Like, I just need help in parts. Like, that's all. I don't need recommendations for anything else. I mean, that's literally what I'm talking about. I'm here to recommend parts. That is how this works. So like, all you helped me in is telling me to wait 2 weeks. Like, no. I mean, yeah, literally I'm telling you to wait 2 weeks to pick your parts. Because it's like trying to order from a buffet 2 weeks before you go, and they have a seasonal menu, and when you get there the menu is different, and it's like, why would you pick the food ahead of time then? You know what I'm saying? It's like the menu of items that you have to choose from in PC parts is constantly changing, and the stuff that's actually worth buying also changes constantly. So yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. It's like going to a buffet and like planning 2 weeks in advance what you're gonna eat there, but then when you get there, the food is different. So it's like, bruh. or the prices are really different, and now you like don't want the lobster anymore, and you're like pissed. Is the power supply good enough? Let's find out, shall we? Okay, first of all, I hope you don't. I hope you don't already have any of these parts, or I hope you bought these a long time ago, because these parts are pretty bad. But like right now, they're pretty poor purchases. But the power supply is fine. Yeah, for a list like this, the power supply is fine. When you got a break, let me know your thoughts on this setup. Let me know if I should change anything. My fam is buying me a PC for my Zoom classes. Okay, cool. That sounds good. It's nice of your family. But again, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like I've been telling the other people. If you're okay with that, then up to you. But except I'll order the food now instead of 2 weeks later, but I'll waste money because of Black Friday. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm telling you to wait 2 weeks. Because Black Friday has better sales than right now. I mean, we are having Black Friday sales right now, but the new ones that are coming in 2 weeks will be better than the ones we have now because they're closer to Black Friday. Which part should I change if it's bad? Pretty much every single part on this list. Yeah, pretty much every single part on this list besides maybe the power supply. And maybe the motherboard, depending on what you end up buying. So, yeah. Listen to Aegis. All you have to do is wait 2 weeks to save money for parts unless you need it urgently. Yeah, that's what I've said
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 times
Wait,
now.
no. We highly recommend waiting for
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's-
Hold on, we gotta edit the copy pasta. Give me one second.
We are getting it Wednesday of next week, so I don't know if that's a good build. I mean, I can take a look at it. Called Oof. No, that's not a good build. Yeah, that's definitely not a good build. Wednesday of next week. Okay, I guess you're buying all the parts on Wednesday of next week. Is that what you mean? That's what you're saying? Okay, then come back Wednesday of next week. I'll be here and I will make a list for you and we'll pick all the parts together. You can ask me all the questions you want. And yeah, that's basically it. No, I don't change it to Black Friday. Just say mid-November. Mid-November is still right. Because it's around like the 18th, 20th. That's still like mid-November. That's yeah, it's still mid-November. If I had to change it, maybe I'd say like mid to late November, but that's doesn't matter. It's around then. Okay, let's see. Why not sooner? Okay, CL, are you in the voice call right now? Or are you watching stream right now? Because I don't know how to address that. Oh shit, the extra live stream is over. Fuck, I wanted to play, whatever, that's okay.
Good afternoon, Aegis.
Hello.
What
Hey, man.
always?
This stream is like, yeah, this stream is more important.
This stream's more important.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to play more Among Us, this stream is more important. Can you help
You're
with my
more
list,
important to
please?
us.
Yeah, when you're buying. Yeah, I can hear you? Okay, cool. Alright. So let's take a look at your list. You said, I want a white case, white theme, motherboard that's white, white air cooler, white fans. Thanks in advance. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Alright. Let's go over this. But you're still going to critique my build, right? Did I forget to educationally go over your build? If I did, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. Okay. We'll go over your build. Alright, let's take a look. So real quick, I'll just breeze through this. At this budget, again, so I said I would suggest reallocating your budget from your CPU and motherboard to your GPU. Honestly, you could change your CPU to like an i3-10100 or something similar, maybe the 10100F if that releases by the time you're buying. The B550 Extreme 4 is a nice board, but it's certainly not worth buying for a 5600X. And even if you wanted to go for a 5600X, yeah, I would change to a cheaper B550 board. And I don't recommend going for a 5600X, so the board would be just a different chipset anyways. Your RAM here, even if you wanted white RGB RAM, there is cheaper white RGB RAM that is just better at overclocking and is just cheaper. So that's all I have to say about that. 970 EVO, Samsung has not made any relevant consumer drives in the last 6 years. So that includes the 970 EVO. So I would recommend a different 500 gig SSD or maybe even a 1 terabyte SSD because I think you could fit that into your budget. NR600 is fine. If you pick that for like aesthetic preferences, if you pick that just because you think it's a good case, there are cheaper cases that I'd probably recommend over that at this point. And finally, the G3 650 watt is not a relevant power supply at $123 for 650 watts. So there you go. There's the basic rundown. Yep. See you, Dragon. Okay, now CL. Let's go over your list now. Shall we? Okay, so first of all, CL. Is this list for gaming? I'm assuming this list is for gaming. Just type in Twitch chat or type in voice chat text, whatever you want. Fuck this server. Why is this guy mad?
What the hell? Aegis, did you see my message?
Why is he mad?
don't
I did
know.
see your message. Yeah, I'm just waiting
Okay.
on CL's response here.
Oh, CTRO control.
No, different guy. He's in my DMs.
Oh.
And also, in the meantime,
slid
I'm
into
going
your
to pull some more people into this channel that needs some help.
Well, I was on TikTok and I found this guy that built this PC,
Oh,
and I was
God.
like so in love with it. And he ended up having a PC part picker list.
Oh, God. TikTok PC builds are so fucking garbage, dude. I mean, I can help you make the PC look like his, but I can guarantee you it's
Yeah.
I
A bit,
don't want to
like,
think about TikTok PC builds.
TikTok PCs look good, but
They
let's
look
just
good.
say not for them prices. Not for them prices.
Oi, oi, oi. Okay, I just don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that.
I'm sorry.
How can I tell? The system is drawing.
Wait, is that Mallard from that dude?
Who?
Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm doing gaming but mostly doing an overkill build. Okay. Hello, Aegis. Hi, Xenon. Gonna try following a Blender tutorial. Good luck. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Am I still in line? I think I talked about yours already. I'm pretty sure I did.
You started to, and then you answered a short question.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. Looking for
Oh yeah, yeah.
motherboard.
I suggest coming back in like 1 or 2. Same thing for.
Okay, I got you. All right, fair.
And then I'll
Thank
make you
you.
a list from scratch. Yep, I got you.
All right. Yep.
Okay. Also, if you're new to this voice call, as usual, I am streaming this voice call on Twitch. So if you say something, just be aware of being streamed. Oh yeah, YouTube now too, apparently. Yeah, for some reason. Okay. All my 1 YouTube viewers will hate me for that. Okay. Anyways, for an overkill build, if it's just for gaming, go for the 5800X, honestly, or a 10700K, or a 5600X. That would be a better idea than the 10900K for gaming at this point. Z490 Pro 4 is such a weird Z490 board choice. I'm assuming you did it because it's white, but there are better white Z490 boards around that price. Same thing with B550 boards as well. Trident Royal, 128 gigs of RAM for gaming. Come on.
Even for
You
overkill.
bought a 3090 for $2,000. Come on. And just 3090 for gaming, even for an overkill build, is just stupid. It's like, it's out of the question, okay? I'll briefly summarize why the 3090 should never be bought. Pretty much never be bought for gaming. At least if you're doing single GPU. The 3090, like, you can make the argument that a GPU is worth buying because it's the best GPU, right? Because it's the best performing. So you need to pay a certain amount of money to get the best performance, right? So, being the best GPU in the market, it can command a certain price. But the 3090, right? In order to be the best at something, especially something like gaming, you need to be noticeably better than everything else you're being compared with, right? Because if something is at like 100 FPS versus 101 FPS, technically the 101 is better. Are you gonna notice? No. Can you notice? No. So like the 3090 is about like 10% better than the 3080 in 4K AAA titles, ultra settings. So that's like best case scenario for the 3090. 10% in my opinion is not really within the margin of being noticeable. And it's not like the 3090 has better frame times or anything like that. So the 3090 being as expensive as it is, especially because you overpaid by $500, it's just completely a waste of money for gaming. So don't bother. Same thing with the power supply. If you wanted a 1000 watt power supply, there are good 1000 watt power supplies that are half that price. So again, ridiculous. And the monitors, if you're going to buy 4K 144, there are better choices than the XB273K. So I wouldn't have picked those either, even if you really wanted to do 4K 144. So that's basically it. If you wanted to do overkill, I would have done overkill in different ways that are actually helpful. So is the 10600K dead? Kinda. Yeah, I would say the 5600X has basically replaced it in its role. This guy says, I'm sorry that I cannot go into a VC. Why are you sorry? Okay. Alright, by the way, if you're in this voice channel and you have a question for me, please put it in the voice chat text channel and ping me there so I can see it. It's just easier for me to see everything there at the same time. Okay, and let me scroll through here. I'm going to get a wireless network adapter. Doesn't matter what AX200 I get, or they're all the same. They're all the same. AX3000, same thing. It's just a renaming, really. Some of them you'll get them with heat sinks. Some of them will come with USB driver packaging. Some of them will come with a nicer box or a nicer PCB. But at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same AX200 chipset. So pick whatever you want. The Cuddy WE3000 one, that one's like $25 or something. Pretty cheap. Yeah.
It's 22 now.
22 with the coupon, right? Yeah. So there you go. Grab that. Any recommendations for 4K monitors? 4K 144? Sure, I guess. Yeah, let's go hunting for those, I guess. Hi, I have a budget of 1,000 quid. Could you help me put a list together whenever you have time? I'll primarily be using it for general web browsing and schoolwork, maybe some light gaming. So George, new to the stream, I've been telling people right now is not the best time to be picking or planning a PC part list. So I would suggest coming back in maybe about 2 weeks, and then I can make you a list from scratch at that time. But if you have, questions about PC parts in general or anything really, you can ask me those questions, but I don't advise making a list right now. Not the best idea. So 4K 144. Which are the monitors that I recommend? Yeah, 27GN950 is pretty good. Yeah. I'd have probably gone for something like that instead, given what the current prices are. Okay. And which white motherboard are better, again, you said? Okay, so for Z490, that would be Vision D or Vision G, depending on whether you need Thunderbolt 3 or not. For B550, that would be Vision D. I believe Asus also has a B550 board that is white, but I think it's more expensive. So go for the Vision D. Alright, all good. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Sounds good, dude. Have a good one. Thank you, Pizza Fox, for the follow. Neptune, I'll take a look at your stuff now. Give me a second. Thank you, Zombie Brian, for the follow.
I just really liked the concept of this build and the visuals. It was like an all white.
Yeah,
I
sure.
can probably find an image and then send it in chat.
Holy crap, where did you send it? Oh, okay. I thought you sent it like really far up. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, let's talk about this list. Oh shit, wrong tab. Okay, there we go.
Here, let me find this.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Is it bad?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what would you change? I was just trying to do like an all white. Here, let me go
Even
to
if you wanted to do an
the
all-white
academy.
build, I would change pretty much every single part in this list. Yeah.
Okay.
Except
You
maybe
looking
the
at-
except maybe the O11 dynamic, if that's of interest to you. How long have you
Okay,
been building doing PCs? Seriously? For like 2 years? Yeah. Hello. Nice. DOS build shit?
What?
Yes, DOS build is shit. Okay, spooky developer. Yo, it's like mid-November. No, it's the 7th. Come back around the 20th. The 7th is not mid-November. It is early November. Uh, uh, okay. Who's pinging me the other channels? What's going on over there?
I don't know.
Thank you. I'll do that later. It is almost 7 a.m. and I'm trying to get ready for university. Feels bad. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I should honestly add the voice chat text request to my my little message here to my macro. I'm gonna
Why
change
is
it.
there a limit on it?
On what?
The
On the
yeah,
voice channel?
channel, the PC. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean sometimes we get a lot of people here and then sometimes the mods are concerned that people
Oh,
start
I see,
talking
I see,
over
I
each
see, I
other.
see.
I honestly think we should have it unlimited because people talk over each other when there's like 5 people in here sometimes, and sometimes it's really nice and civil when we have 30 people in here. So it's really up to the other mods. I'll probably bring it up with them sometime, but that's the basic
Mhm.
explanation.
Is there an owner, like an all-around
Yes,
who
there is an owner of the
just
server, but all the admins are
who's
kind of on equal footing here.
who's the owner?
That would be M13B.
Me.
Yes, or Meeb. Meeb. Meeb.
We used to pronounce it Mibib.
Mabibi. Yes, Mabibi.
Mibib.
Big Paparuski. No, around the 20th. Random JPEG. I'm in voice chat 1. Oh, they went to general 1. The build hub 1. Yeah, what's up, random JPEG? What was your question? Post your question in voice chat text. All right. I just assumed it was a bad sale. Oh, okay. It was for $20. That's actually not a bad sale. The original listing. Oh, it's free shipping. Okay. Yeah, random JPEG. If you have a question, please tag me in the voice chat text channel.
Hello.
What's up? Who is that? I
Orca.
can't hear you? That's on you. Other people can. I got a big paycheck on that week. Nice. I really just want to know if it works. My job is paying up to 3K. Okay. Yeah, it works. I mean, almost any build that is done in PC Part Picker will work. but I can certainly make you a much better list than this for 3K, or just a better list in general that's less than 3K, much less than this build. So, yeah.
Aegis?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, bro?
You need help with something?
Yeah, it might be a lot though.
Okay, that's fine. If you have like a list of questions, just send them into the voice chat text channel, and I'll take a look at them when I get the chance.
Mm.
Wait, can I collapse this? Oh, I can collapse that channel. That's actually good.
It's it's not like a specific question. It's more like more general. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to building a PC, so I don't know if I'm going overkill in some departments
Okay,
or not.
I got
And
you.
I have the build.
Yeah, send
You
it in
want
voice
me to
chat
send it?
text, and I'll take a look.
Alright.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
What's up, dude? Do you mind changing your name to something a little more taggable?
There you go.
Nice, perfect. Okay.
What's it called?
Sanitary
I couldn't.
Sanchez. Hold on. Sanitary Sanchez. And also, if you're new to this voice channel, I am streaming this voice channel on Twitch, so if you say something, just be aware you're being streamed. Sanitary Sanchez. I would suggest coming back in like 2 weeks if you are buying a PC, or I'm assuming you're in the US. So, yeah, I would suggest coming back in about 2 weeks, because even if you want those guys to pay the maximum, I can assure you I can definitely fluff up your PC and get it to 3K, and with monitors and stuff like that. But of course, you may as well get the best bang for your buck for 3K. So I think you may as well come back in like 2 weeks. Hey Aegis, I have a 5800X and a 3080 build. I'm only going to be using my computer for gaming at 1440p 144. Will 16 gigs be more than enough, or should I get 32 gigs? 16 gigs is fine for gaming. If you ever run into an instance where you need more than 16 gigs, you can always just get 2 more DIMMs of 8 gig sticks, and you'll have 32 gigs. Because most people are buying motherboards with 4 DIMM slots.
Alright, I have a question. So I just finished my PC today, right? And
Yep.
is it fine for me to just put like my fan speed to 100%, or would that just make them corrode faster? Like
You can
break?
no, you can set your fan speed to 100%. I mean, it's going to be loud, but if you're okay with that, then that's fine.
Yeah, like that wouldn't affect like it would last like a year before I have to do it and they could put new fans in.
No, fans are actually more negatively affected by transients, so like constantly turning them on and off will damage a fan a lot more than leaving it on. Your fan will
So if I
run
just have it
fine.
like 100%, like it's fine.
I mean, it's going to be loud, and
Yeah, no, I'm fine with the loud. Like I'm fine with that.
it's going to last, less. It's going to last, a shorter time than if you ran it at like a lower speed, but it should certainly, last you enough, I think. Yeah, you're not gonna have to like replace it in 6 months or anything like that. No.
Like it would last like a year or two before I would have to
Oh
replace
yeah,
fans.
definitely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. Whoever said that.
It's random.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you have a mic, please, I suggest typing in voice chat text, just so it's easier, so like everyone's in order and you're not like cutting in front of anybody. Okay. So Sanitary Sanchez, I hope that is clear. What happens in 2 weeks? Better Black Friday sales, and as well as new GPUs from AMD. Okay.
6000 series, right?
My current build, what changes should I make for streaming, gaming, and recording and uploading YouTube videos? Okay, and I'm assuming that includes editing YouTube videos as well.
Yeah.
You own all of this already? No, you definitely don't. Okay. So this is a list that you're considering buying.
Yes.
But some of this you've already bought.
So the things that I marked as bought are not the actual PC parts, like the physical PC. So I was separating PC parts from
But
like
did you
monitor,
buy all
keyboard.
of these like monitors, for example, already?
No. Those are just considerations. I just wanted to separate the pricing from the PC itself and
Okay, yeah, I
other
got
parts.
you. I
I did
definitely
buy the keyboard though.
wouldn't yeah, I wouldn't buy pretty much anything on this list. Yeah, except maybe the 6800 XT, depending on how that thing benches and whether its drivers are stable on release. But pretty
Mhm.
much everything. Actually, no, the case is excusable if you have chosen it for aesthetic preference reasons. But
Yeah.
every single other part on this list, I would change to something else.
The GPU, I was gonna get the 3080 at first, and then I was
Mhm.
told a 6800 XT is the better option at this point.
Well, we'll
Um,
see. We'll see. I mean, all we have right now are AMD's, press slides, their presentation slides. We don't have any real benchmarks yet, so, it's still not no final conclusion on that one yet. So,
Fair enough.
if you want to find out, see how that story ends, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, those cards will release, and of course, there's going to be better Black Friday sales at that time. So this list, I don't think it's worth saving. I would just scrap it, honestly.
Fair enough. I don't know anything, obviously, so this is just me watching videos. I don't know. There's some popular
That's okay.
YouTube guy,
That's okay.
and
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use YouTube as a resource for learning how to pick parts for a build. YouTube is fine for learning how to actually build a PC, like put the parts together, but for picking parts for a list, I've yet to see a YouTuber that actually knows what they're talking about. So, yeah, unlucky.
Wait, so Agus, you're not a YouTuber?
I'm
Because
not a
you know what
YouTuber.
you're talking about.
I'm not a YouTuber, no. My stream VODs that automatically get uploaded to YouTube, those don't count, okay? Does OBS work for Discord streaming? OBS works for any window capture. So Discord, Adobe Reader, fucking Fubar 3000. You want to capture your Spotify? You can do that. Yeah, it works for anything. As long as it's on your screen, OBS can capture it. What motherboard did you recommend? What motherboard for what? What are we talking about? Also, if you're new to this channel, I am streaming this voice call on Twitch, so if you say something, just be aware of being streamed as usual, blah, blah, blah. Okay. My mic is working now. Let me know when you're ready to chat. Send me your question. Random JPEG, send me your question in voice chat text. Orca, my specs, I will type them into Twitch chat. 1 second, so I can copy them.
Vegas. Or I don't
Yep.
know how to.
That's fine.
For the motherboard, I'm trying to get a motherboard that's like around $200. I have a Ryzen 5 2600 right now, and I'm trying to.
Okay, I see your
upgrade
question
to a
now. I see it
Ryzen.
now. I see it
Okay.
now. Okay. First of all, I definitely wouldn't upgrade from a 2600 to a 3900X. Typically, just a piece of good advice, just in general. Upgrading across a single CPU generation is typically a bad idea, even across two. AMD is making that statement a little bit faltering. It's faltering a little bit, but I still wouldn't upgrade from Ryzen 2000 to Ryzen 3000 unless you are really changing what you do on your PC. So if you're going from like a casual gamer to like a full-time video editor, then that might make sense, changing to a different CPU with much more cores that's just more recent and cheaper. Like, for example, Ryzen 2000 doesn't have a 12-core CPU, so it might make sense to go to a 3900X. But I really wouldn't suggest doing that if that's not, doesn't describe you.
That is what I'm doing. I'm trying to edit and
Okay.
I've got like 3 videos a week editing.
Okay. In that case, I might even consider, depending on what you're doing in your video editing software, I might consider a 5600X instead, or I would at the very least wait for the better Black Friday sales to happen in maybe like 2 weeks from now. Yeah, I'm telling almost everybody here to wait about 2 weeks to come back and get some better sales. Because I think that's just a better idea. What is the best AIO? Oh, sorry, you typed that in Twitch chat, right? Sorry, I am blind. What is the best AIO? I don't care about looks or price, just the best performing. If you just care about the best performing, I would consider building a loop, like a custom loop, because they're not that much more expensive if you're just doing, function over form. If you just care about performance, making a custom loop, provided you're willing to buy off like AliExpress and stuff like that, is not that much more expensive than like an expensive AIO. So I would genuinely consider that if thermals are all you care about. But if you want to consider an AIO, depends on which CPU we're talking about. If we're talking about like an Intel IHS, then an Asetek AIO, just Gen 6, Gen 7, I think. And then for an AMD IHS, that would be like a Liquid Freezer 2 or an EKD AIO. Those would be good as well. I believe some of the semi-custom loop stuff, like the iSpire and EKMLC stuff, might outperform the AIOs that I just mentioned. But yeah, that's basically it. Also, for some of the AIOs that I just mentioned, if you really want to max out performance, you can replace the fans with more powerful radiator fans, especially if you don't care about noise. And you might see some yields from that as well. Okay, building an Unreal workstation / gaming rig. Got all my parts outside of the 5950X. Okay, generally you wanna come to me before you buy your parts, but I can look at this if you'd like.
Yeah, so that was my question. So the main thing I'm looking for is really just the case. I've been into I've been on this Discord a couple of times, so that's where the list is from. And I got some of the only thing I have not bought is the processor because it's just out of stock everyone. But I got my liquid cooler and I thought it was gonna fit, but unfortunately it does not fit my current case.
Okay.
So I am looking for a new case that is mid to full size. Budget is I guess I can go up to 200, but obviously I can not spend that much. The main thing I need is 8 or at least 8 8 hard drive bays and one 5.25 inch bay for my Blu-ray drive.
Okay. And one 5 1/4 inch bay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look. What do we have here? I think Define R5 might be a good choice here. Or when PCPP says some AMD B550 chipset motherboards, blah blah blah. Should I worry about it not working when I click the power button? Yeah, I mean, basically almost none of the B550 boards will support Ryzen 5000 out of the box. So you will need to update those motherboards BIOS before you try to turn on the power button. Well, I mean, you're going to need to turn on the power button to update the BIOS, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to need to update the BIOS of those motherboards before you actually use them. So just be aware of that. All right. Let's see. External 3.5 inch base. All right. Okay, that's what they define it as, external. Okay, so I probably look at this right now, I guess. The Define R5. Pretty minimalistic case. There you go. Let me know what you think of that. So that should have 5 1/4 inch bays, and it should have, yeah, it has exactly 8 internal 3.5 inch bays. Okay. I'll be back in 2 weeks, I guess. Thanks for the heads up. Yep, no problem. What is a reasonable GPU? I just upgraded to i9 and new tough motherboard with 32 gigs of RAM. What's a good upgrade? Depends on what you're doing with your build, but I'd say a good place to start is a 3070, for a list like that, or a 3060 when that comes out. Or perhaps waiting for AMD's 6800 or a 6800 XT. Those are also good starting places, because given your budget, I think, you can easily afford something in that range. So just make sure your power supply is good enough to boot. Not literally to boot, but like the expression to boot. And you should be good. Sorry, I didn't catch your answer about a motherboard that I want to upgrade to a Ryzen 9 3900X. You can let me know whenever I will be in the VC. I said that you should come back in about 2 weeks, and then I'll recommend you parts then, because Black Friday sales will change what I recommend to people. Do you have any tips for actually getting a 3070? Yes.
Can you stay up all night?
Grab this and grab this, right? Visit these two Discords. They have notification rules for when 3070s get back in stock. So that will definitely help you with trying to find a 3070. But you know, if you really want a 3070, I'd probably just wait, honestly. Just wait. Save yourself a headache.
The other thing too that I recommend is signing up for EVGA's notification list. That's how I was able to get my 3080.
Yeah, you
and
could
I
do
was
their
able to
queue
get it.
system. Thanks,
Yeah.
I'll order a 1660 now. Wait, why a 1660? I said 3060. Now that GPU isn't out yet, but you know, I'd say it's worth waiting for. You're way too seductive to not be yet. I can tell you slacking. Damn. Would a 570 be able to run on a 350 watt power supply bronze for about 3 weeks until a new power supply is purchased? I think it would be okay, but that's pushing it. And I wouldn't do that for long periods of time. You said for 3 weeks, so yeah, you're probably fine. It really depends on the power supply, really. Like 350 watt bronze units are usually pretty shit, but it really depends on the power supply. I hope you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
When was the last
Hello.
time 40 nanometer process was relevant? This year? Now? Old and deprecated processes are used in many devices that you may not expect. That you know, the thing about the 5 nanometer and 7 nanometer, they're bleeding edge nodes. So if you want to build something on those nodes, it costs a lot of money and development. Whereas, you know, etching and litho on all of these large nodes like 28 and 40 nanometer are relatively developed. The infrastructure is already in place. So if you need to work with like an embedded application that doesn't require that much performance and doesn't require that low of a power draw, then something like that would be a much better option for cost optimization. So you're going to see that a lot. There are straight up like micrometer processes that are still being used, not nanometer processes. So is this build good? What could I do to make it better and cheaper without cutting any corners? It's Seasonic 80 plus bronze. Its 12 volt is like 330 or 340. That doesn't sound so bad. I mean, I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. Okay. Yeah, this list isn't very good. Yeah, I can tell you what you can do to make it cheaper / better without cutting any corners. A 5600X and 3070 don't consume that much power, so you could step down from a GF1 to like, honestly, even that Thegotep unit wouldn't be so bad for this. But if you wanted something a little bit better, you could do like a 90, 80-ish dollar power supply. I'm not super against the GF1. I actually don't know why I commented on that first, because that's definitely not the worst part of this build, but yeah. This RAM, if you're not manually overclocking your RAM, it should be like a $50 or $60 kit instead. If you are manually overclocking RAM, it's kind of excusable, but Revy goes for like $70, so you're spending like $20 extra on basically nothing. Definitely way overpriced / unnecessary motherboard for a 5600X. And if you're playing at 1440p, which on a 3070 you should be, I would honestly consider waiting to see if the 3600 drops in price during Black Friday to like 150 or something, and that would make it certainly much more worth buying over this. And then you also wouldn't need to go for a B550 board, and then you could also wait for DDR5. So yeah, and then also obviously this case, you can cut down more on the case here and then not suffer too much either. So basically every single part on this list besides the GPU and maybe the power supply, depending on what type of person you are. Superhunk is watching my Twitch stream. That's why he is not in the voice call. Also, what power supply would you recommend upgrading to for around $50 or $60? There's a certain Segotep unit that we like in this community. It's this guy right here. All right.
Haha, Segotep, go burr.
Okay. And let me get the link here. Yeah, is this this guy? Right. This guy right here, it's like $50. All right. And it's a 600 watt power supply. Pretty good. Pretty good platform. Very cheap. Yeah. This is what I would look at. This is like a very good budget power supply. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna invite more people into this channel. Can you look over my list for me? Yeah, I can, but you gotta send it to me. Gotta send it to me
I want
first.
a black case with white interior. I don't think I've seen. Aegis, is there a case like that?
A black case with a white interior. Yeah, there's a lot of black/white cases on PC Part Picker that
Yeah,
kind of match
'cause I
that
can-
Well,
description.
what
I know the
meant is have
reverse.
a black case, but all my parts.
I mean, look, if a case
What?
doesn't look exactly how you want it to, you can always like vinyl wrap
Okay.
it. You know, like
Okay, yeah.
modding a case is not hard. And when
Yeah.
I say modding, I mean like adding your own decorations is not that hard. What I plan on doing, or just get a regular black case and put like white RGB, like put RGB strips in it and set them to white, and that'll essentially achieve the effect you want.
Yeah, interior is what I meant.
You're lagging hard, bro.
I don't know my budget, but I will have it soon. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
dude, just type what you're
Yeah,
trying to say. 'Cause
get
you're
get an
lagging.
idea of what you're looking for in your PC build. Like, what do you want it to look like? What kind of games are you playing? What settings do you want to play at? What's your budget? You know, what resolution you're playing at? How much FPS do you want? These are questions you got to ask yourself. And then when you have like, in fact, I can actually send you a form that I use to get people to give me the right information so that I can make a good build for them ahead of time. So, you know, I don't know, save this form somewhere, and, you know, whenever you have some spare time, just look at it and think about the questions that I've asked on that form, and think of some good details. Can you look over my list for me? I sent it to you on Discord, thanks. What? This man got banned? Okay.
My face when somebody puts a regular sized AIO on a Threadripper.
Oh, you're JJ. Can you look over this one? Thank you. Yes, I can look over this one. Okay. Why is there
JJ fit.
parametric selections here? Yeah, why did you use
Oh,
parametric?
no.
Did you like press the check mark and add everything? Like you're did you okay, hold on. Did you like press the check mark and then press add from selection, because that's not what you're supposed to do. Just press add. Okay, just press add or click on it and then press add. Like don't do this. Anyways, I'll talk about this list very briefly. So obviously I told you and other people I recommend coming back in like 2 weeks, but I can talk about this list anyways, and let's pretend you're buying this now, okay? So 3800X should be a 5600X, assuming this is for gaming, or it should be a 3600 or 10400 or whatever, just not a 3800X. That CPU has never really been relevant. B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi I don't have a problem with if you're buying Ryzen 5000. If you're not, then it should be a B460 board or a B450 board or a Z490 board, depending on what other CPU you'd be getting. 32 gigs of RAM for $160 is terrible. It should be around $100, not $160. I don't have a problem with 1 plus 2 if you need exactly 3 terabytes of space. If you need less, maybe I'd just do 1 terabyte only. A60 for 93 I don't have a problem with. Although if you wait for Black Friday, that might change.
But no, you have to min max and get 665p for
3070
89.
Founders is fine. MB311L is fine. TX750M for 140 is terrible, so definitely not that.
Oh yeah, TXM got canceled. Fan.
The really weird fan choice. Yeah, I'd pick a different fan. And then G213 is actually a decent. It's a decent keyboard for like budget, but it's $85. Typically, I recommend that keyboard in some like low access countries where it's like this is a really cheap keyboard, but for $85, that's awful. So yeah, most of this list is not very good. Some of it's okay, just you know, classic recommendations like this and this, but and that. But almost everything else should be changed. Pretty much everything else.
Are you still here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, no, Bill, did you get your GK61 yet?
Let's see.
No. It looks like it's gonna be the full 30 days.
Just cancel the order and order it off of Amazon.
No, in Canada, you have to pay like import anyways.
And order it off of Canada Computer.
No, it's not on Canada computers.
Then build your own PCB.
That's a bruh moment.
Hey, just quick question: is that you sent me formatted in a Google form?
No, it's not. It's just
Oh, okay. I'll save this picture then.
Guideline.
Oh man.
My Aegis. My face when somebody buys 10 Cooler Master Halos, and then we tell him it's not good for a rad, and he's like, should I return them? And then he bought them all in single packs. I'm
Hi
like,
Aegis, we did my
bruh.
PC parts with the price list yesterday, and the 3600. No, the 2600 would not be okay. And this is why I tell people to ask me for a list, or I will make them a list on the day they're buying. Because if you ask me for a list like a week before you're
What's
buying
going
and you
on?
come back in a week and some of the parts have gone up in price or out of stock, that is why I tell you to make a list right when you're buying. And then you can ask me as many questions as you want. But
Just as big brain.
yeah, make me
Min-max
sorry, not
go
ask me
burr.
for a list when you're buying. I settled with the 3800X over the 5600X because of the extra 2 cores because I plan on streaming. Core count in CPUs
Oh, no.
for single streaming builds are completely irrelevant. Okay? Alright, first, Evan, you mind muting your mic if you...
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, for streaming, core count is essentially irrelevant because
Kinda
every
reminds me of a
streamer that
Reddit
knows
build.
what they're doing should be offloading their streaming and encoding or their streaming coding workload to the GPU at this point. Wow, that's long. Okay. So this is what I have right now. I'm aiming for 144 hertz, blah blah blah. 1440p gaming rig. Okay. I'm buying from Canada. Why are you listing your budget in US dollars then? I'm confused.
I mean, people have been getting the prices wrong. Like, so I just
Okay, well,
been using
tell them
USD
you're
for
from
budget.
Canada and tell them your budget in Canadian and send them
Alright.
a Canadian PC part picker list. And if they still don't get it, then that's their fault.
Alright.
Oh, so should I swap it for the 5600X? Yeah. Yeah, probably. I don't depends on what the rest of your budget looks like and what prices will look like later on, but yeah, probably. No worries, I'm purchasing today. There's another 3600, just $10 in another retailer. I'll just have to wait. I was just asking due to impatience, haha, but thanks again for the help. Yeah, all good, dude. Yeah, just make sure if you're buying a list and you want help from me, do it as close as possible to your purchase time. Okay, if you're insecure with like, you know, making a list and then buying so quickly, like without letting it marinate for a bit, feel free to ask me as many questions as you want and until you're satisfied. But like once we're done with the final list, try to buy it as soon as possible so it doesn't become irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah, Ryu, it does remind me of the old days on the Reddit.
Okay.
Meshify C moment, RMX
wait, where did
moment.
the long post go? I was reading a long post. It's gone now. I'm sad.
Oh, I was reformatting it.
Oh, okay, cool. If I were to be buying my PC tomorrow, what kind of list would you make? Depends on
If I'm buying a
your
car,
budget,
what car
depends
would
on
you
what
buy?
country you're
That's
in,
such
depends on
a
what you're doing on
loaded
your
question.
PC. Whatever.
Yeah, loaded question.
Okay, I'm gonna grab more
yeah.
people from the other build help channels. 1 second.
TD500 mesh price in Canada is pretty nice. If only the case design weren't so old. Aegis. You think that the 4000X RGB, if it had a mesh front panel, would actually be like a decent rec?
The what?
You know, Corsair 4000X, the new case.
Yeah, what about it?
If only the RGB one came with a mesh front, then it would actually be like somewhat decent. Cause then like it's actually bigger than the 220T, but it has a Corsair sex appeal.
Lol.
But no, my RGB go burr. Haha, you should get E-loops instead. Wait, what was the other one?
Let's see here.
D
Damn.
something Stella or whatever.
Maybe I should just help people, because when I tell them to come back, they just go to other people and get shitty lists from them, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, it's a bro moment.
Whatever. And then,
You're
they come,
the
and then they
very-
come back to me anyways, and I have to deal with more shitty
And then they come
lists.
back and you have to correct their list when you can just when
yeah.
eating the list and giving them it is better. Yeah.
All right, I fixed the formatting a little bit.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much, by the way. I really
LTT list.
appreciate it.
Okay, let's talk about this list. 2,000 Canadian peripherals under 1,000. The 3,000 total for the build plus peripherals.
Yes.
Okay, you got a thick budget. You can definitely, you have a lot of flexibility here. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 3080
Um,
time.
I wasn't really sure what kind of board I would need in the first place, so I'd really appreciate any tips on that. I actually like this. You've given me good details here. You have a nice, you have a realistic budget, and
list.
you've given me. See, this is the fucking form submission type I like to fucking see, boys. This is my shit. Okay, anyways. Okay. Also, would the stock cooler for the 5600X be okay? Yes, lots of good questions here. Not a very good list to accompany it, but lots of good questions. Okay, yeah. So, you have two choices here. I can either criticize your list and talk about why it's not a very good list, or we can just jump right into making a new list from scratch. Or actually, I hope you've heard. I've been saying this for a while, but if you don't mind coming back in like 2 weeks, then I'll make you a list then. There's that
Did
too.
you do the criticism so I could learn from it?
Sure, yeah, I can do that for educational reasons, but I'm not going to suggest replacements or direct replacements. I'll suggest like alternatives that you can consider, but
Right.
or like what you should be thinking about. But
Yeah, that's perfect.
okay,
that would be
cool.
perfect.
All right. So right off the bat, right, when we're looking at a build for esports type games like Apex Legends or Valorant or COD or Fortnite or CS:GO or any of those games, and somebody's trying to really like get as much FPS as they can, even on medium high settings, there should be a bit more of a focus on CPU. Esports equal Intel, don't at me. Dude, have you looked at the Ryzen 5000 benchmarks on esports games? Lol. Anyways, yeah, so here's what I should be here's what I think you should be doing. Depends really. Yeah, it's still 5600X for me, honestly. Yeah, so I would probably be getting a 5600X, which you have in your list. Okay, good.
Yeah.
If they're guzzling cash, then AMD wins, else Intel wins. Okay, sort of.
I was also
okay, yeah, I'll talk
recommended-
about some of the things that you have addressed in your kind of post here. So first you say, I think I've been told I'm overpaying for the functionality of the B550 Tomahawk. Okay. So the B550 Tomahawk, it's a good motherboard, but when I say good, I don't mean good viability or good value. I mean, it's just a good motherboard. And when I say good, I mean, it's mostly features that people like you or like most of the people in the server don't care about. The thing about motherboards is that most people expect very little out of their motherboards. They just want them to hold their parts, maybe do a little bit of overclocking, and change the fan curves, maybe change some BIOS settings, and that's basically it. That's all they care about.
Right.
And if you're that type of person, like most people don't even touch their BIOS, to be honest with you, but like if you're not that type of person, then, or if you are that type of person, then you can get away with getting a very cheap motherboard typically. So for a 5600X, for example, there are motherboards like the B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi that are power delivery wise more than sufficient, feature set wise more than sufficient, comes with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, looks pretty decent as well, and it's much, much cheaper. So honestly, I struggle to make a case for recommending the B550 Tomahawk to someone. Like, it's a good board, but it's just like, who is this board for in this community? Like, motherboard is probably the single component where people waste the most money. They dump money into it and they see literally zero gain come out of it.
Right.
Because the thing about
It's
motherboards is
true.
that
About it.
the diminishing returns curve for motherboards levels off extremely quickly as soon as you hit the point where it's like, ah, yes, this motherboard, it doesn't have crash issues, it doesn't have, you know, external like firmware issues, and it has proper power delivery. As soon as you hit that line, there's almost 0 point to getting a motherboard that costs more than that. And that limitation is like somewhere around the $100 mark for Ryzen 5000, for almost every Ryzen 5000 processor. You could argue that a 5950X would be fine in a BFI 50M Pro VDH Wi-Fi too. But if you have that money, you know, you'd probably be getting a better board, or you might need more other board features. But you know, you're just gaming,
Right.
so it's like you don't really care.
Exactly, yeah.
When it comes to your RAM, it's true that Ryzen CPUs scale with memory, and so do Intel CPUs. I mean, they scale relatively similarly. A lot of people think Ryzen CPUs scale way better. Not necessarily true. But if you are playing games like, you know, Apex, Fortnite, COD, Valorant, those types of games, overclocking your memory can be helpful. But I do want to advise you of something. So, there's two kind of, okay, there's three kind of islands of memory performance, or tiers of memory performance. Let's call them that, okay? And when I say tiers, I mean within a single tier, there is no noticeable difference in performance, but between two tiers, there is a noticeable difference in performance. So the first tier, or the bottom tier, would be like somebody who's using their RAM completely at stock and is not overclocking in any way whatsoever. They're leaving their memory at 2133, 2400, whatever the motherboard runs it at out of the box, okay?
Right.
Now, this profile, called a JEDEC profile, is very low performance, and it's just designed to be working on any system. So it's good for compatibility, but it's bad considering you're an enthusiast who's building their own PC and there's a lot of performance you're leaving on the table. The second tier, which is higher than that, is XMP. XMP is basically a memory profile that kind of automatically overclocks your RAM for you. You just need to go in the BIOS and choose the profile, and it will run that for you and overclock the RAM for you. Now, this still leaves performance on the table, which is why there's a third tier, but it is noticeably better than not using XMP. So if you buy RAM that says 3000 CL16 or 3600 CL16 on the box, that's actually the XMP that's on that RAM. So you can theoretically push your RAM beyond what it's written on the box, but what's written on the box is what you will get when you run an XMP, so an extreme memory profile.
So XMP basically enables it to its maximum potential out of like the basic stock, right?
Yeah, XMP basically gets you to most of your potential, right? It tries to get most of your potential out of the system, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Now, the way to get all of the potential for memory performance out of your system is by manually overclocking your memory. And what XMP basically does is memory runs off of a bunch of parameters, including frequency and a bunch of timings and resistances. And you can tweak these manually, but they're a pain in the ass. So what XMP does is it kind of plays, you know, kind of loose with the rules, and it develops this profile that is relatively lenient on all of those parameters, but it's not as bad as just running it at stock. So that people can just turn it on and it'll usually work, and they get most of the performance out, but they don't need to tweak anything manually. But the problem is that manually memory overclocking is still a noticeable benefit over just using XMP, especially if you push your RAM pretty far and you have a pretty good kit of RAM. Now, that being said, most people in the server, and I don't necessarily recommend manually memory overclocking, most people in the server do not have the time, patience, resources, or knowledge, or willingness to spend the hours and hours it takes to manually overclock and stability test your RAM. So if that's not you, then XMP is the right way to go, or you could do manually overclocking and choose a specific kit for that. Those are kind of your two options. Most people in this community don't fit in the first tier because we tell everyone, you know, turn on XMP when you do your build. Some people forget, but, you know, everybody should be in those two tiers.
Setting in the BIOS, right?
XMP is a setting in the BIOS, yeah.
Right, okay.
That's for RAM, right?
Yeah, that's for RAM. So, but to be clear here, the main reason why I bring up these three tiers is that if you're going to run XMP, remember that I said that there's no noticeable difference within a single tier. So an XMP that is 3000 C16 compared to an XMP that's 3600 C16, you may be like, oh, that's 600 more megahertz. You know, everybody's saying use Ryzen with 3600 megahertz RAM. That may be true, and Ryzen does scale with 3600 megahertz and even higher, but it's not going to be noticeable if you only use XMP. You'll notice that Linus Tech Tips, for example, Gamers Nexus, all of these different review outlets that do memory scaling tests, the rows that have the noticeable scaling improvements are the ones that say, like, you know, 3600 or 3733, but it's not XMP. They've tightened the subtimings manually by themselves. That's how you get noticeable gains. Now, okay, you can argue that some very high performance XMPs are noticeably different from, say, a 3000 C16 kit, but those are exorbitantly expensive and not worth buying. We're talking about kits that are, you know, maybe over $200 for 16 gigs, which is like 4 times more expensive than like 3000 C16. So, yeah.
So
you mean Zen 3? It's 5th gen Ryzen, by the way. I mean, I guess it's 4th gen. I mean, it's 4th gen, 5th, whatever.
I mean, 4th gen technically, like,
Zen 3, 4th gen Ryzen, 5000 series. There you go. UEFI, not BIOS SMH. If you tell me UEFI, not BIOS one more time, I'm gonna throw you out a window. Okay, I'm gonna throw you out a window. Has anyone overclocked DDR3 to 2133? DDR3 has XMPs that go up to 3200. So, yeah, definitely yes. How are you so good at RAM overclocking? Because he spent a lot of time doing RAM overclocking. So, yeah. So the bottom line is, I just spent like 20 minutes explaining. Just don't get a 3600 C16 kit if you're just going to be using XMP. If you're just going to be using XMP, get a 3000 megahertz C16 kit or a 3200 megahertz C16 kit. Or if it's kind of around the same price, 3600 C18 kit is also good as well. 3600 flat 16. I guarantee you this isn't 3600 flat 16.
Right, it's just
it's 161919, which is a pretty shitty 3600 C16 kit. A flat 16s would be way more expensive than this in Canada. Okay, and then moving down the list, the SN750 is a good SSD, but it's certainly not worth buying for a gamer.
What would you think about the A2000, the Kingston A2000?
Depends on pricing. The A2000 is definitely a lot more viable, but it really depends on pricing. I would say these days the A2000 is not that relevant.
Okay, because I had someone recommend that to me, but I hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah, people just repeat recommendations here pretty often.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes the problem with repeating what other people say is that when times change and prices change, the recommendation becomes invalid. And the A2000 has kind of fallen out of fashion because it's kind of gone up in price now these days. So,
rest in peace to the A2000. You were.
I mean, in some countries it's still worth buying, but you know, like in Australia it's still worth buying.
It was okay in Canada for like a week ago.
1 plus 2 terabytes for your storage configuration is fine, but that's assuming you need exactly 3 terabytes. If you need less, I would just go 1 terabyte SSD alone for now, and then if you need more, I might consider getting a bigger hard drive. 5700 XT is an irrelevant GPU right now. It should not be bought really under any circumstance, in my opinion. If you're gonna buy a GPU in that price range, I would get an EVGA NVIDIA GPU and then step up instead. Meshify C, it's a good case, but it's not worth 135 Canadian. If you're buying that case for aesthetic reasons, then that's fine. But if you're buying that case under the impression that it has really good airflow and really good build quality for its price, there are definitely cheaper cases that have better airflow, come with more fans, and have equal build quality that are cheaper. I already said that. Okay.
Right, okay.
The ARM 750X is a good power supply, but you can definitely do better than that at that price, or equal to that for a lower price. RF120 3-pack for $50, I don't have a problem with. The monitor, Black Friday sales definitely heavily affect monitors, so I would look into that, although that's not a bad price for right now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend that much on a mechanical keyboard, I would switch off of Red Dragon. Red Dragon keyboards are really only worth it for their very low-end keyboards, just because they have control over a price segment where there's basically nothing else. He's in Canada, Dark. I'm not recommending the Stellas. And finally, the Model O is an extremely overrated mouse, and we don't typically recommend it these days. I can get a
But
good deal
why
on
is
the
it
6800
overrated?
because not only does it have quality control issues, but it's basically it's like, I would say it's a trendsetter, and it was relevant for a certain time because it was a really cheap Holy mouse, and like it was a really cheap like cheese grater-esque mouse, and it kind of brought that concept to the mainstream. But these days there are cheaper cheese grater mice that are just better and don't have quality control issues and have a more palatable shape, let's say that. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that all glorious mice are bad, but the Model O in particular is extremely overrated. Like, the Model O was relevant maybe like a year or more ago, and only now has the YouTube community, like the Fortnite and Minecraft community, picked it up for some reason.
Fortnite.
I don't know, I've been told they really like how it double clicks and they say shit like debouncing, and it's like, you people don't know what these words fucking mean.
All right. So, do you mind if I like go over a quick recap of what you said to me so far?
Yeah,
Just so
sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Who is KP, for the follow.
So CPU is good, 5600X for motherboard. I mean, since I don't need the functionality, and because the B550 is something that's more.
Okay,
of a
here. I know it's kind of long-winded, but I'll give you like a really short summary of everything here. Okay. So, CPUs may be fine, but wait for Black Friday on that. Motherboard should be cheaper, should be a cheaper B550 board, like a B550 and Pro VDH Wi-Fi is a good example. But again, you could end up getting Ryzen 3000 based on pricing, or even Intel based on pricing. So wait on Black Friday for that, for the final verdict on that. RAM should be, if you're just using XMP, 3000C16, 3200C16, much cheaper. Should be like $80, $90 at most. SN750, good SSD, but there are much cheaper SSDs. Wait for Black Friday because there's so many SSDs out there. I don't know which one's going to be worth buying.
Okay.
A hard drive is fine, assuming you need that space. GPU should change to EVGA NVIDIA for step up, or go above that to a 3070 or an AMD card, or go below that. It's up to you. And case, yeah, there's cheaper cases that are equal or better. Same thing with the power supply. Fans I'm fine with. Monitor, wait for Black Friday. Keyboard, either go cheaper or go for a different brand. And Model O is not the right choice. That's basically it.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
All good. Dan, thanks for the follow. I cannot join VC, but I just put on XMP and my PC does not boot on the monitor now. It turns on, but nothing on monitor. Please help. Head to the troubleshooting channel. I mean, someone already told you to reset your CMOS, so there you go. That kid just said the N-word, Lamau? Who said the N-word?
Yeah, someone did in here for sure, but I have no clue who said it. You can probably check your VOD and see if you had Discord.
I don't have VODs on. I don't think anyone said the N-word here, because everybody here I know from before.
Nope, someone did.
Someone 100% did.
Did they leave?
Didn't want to say anything.
It's been so long.
Bro, I thought it was from the YouTube video.
Someone did.
Okay, I'll check logs. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I hope Twitch doesn't yeet me for that.
Yeah, I know you're saying, I didn't want to say anything.
What happened?
Oh, was it Oreos and milk?
I think so.
It must have been Oreos and milk. Yeah.
Might have been. I heard some little kid coming in.
Banhammer.
Warning.
I did not say the N-word SMH. Okay, so he said I. Okay. All right. I mean, I'll mute him for 8 hours and we'll see how it goes from here. Don't say slurs in VC. Okay. All right. Clips.twitch.tv. Oh god, did I not even hear that? How did I not hear that? Typically I'm pretty like on top of this shit. All right. Let's listen. Hold on. I'll mute the desktop audio so you can't hear. Oh, someone did. Wow. Okay.
Aegis, how did you miss that?
Someone did actually say that. No, you can keep the clip. It's fine. I mean, actually, you should probably delete the clip.
Delete the bot. Delete the bot.
No, like I literally, like I was saying something and I didn't hear him because he was talking while I was talking, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's not good. That's rough. Okay. I mean, if somebody else says the N-word on your stream and it's like not you that said it, that's fine, right? Like I don't know how Twitch rules work.
No, someone got banned.
You have to immediately do something about it.
Can someone say the N-word on your Twitch stream?
If you don't do something to immediately get rid of them, they'll
Unless
ban
someone
you.
reports you. You can unless someone reports you.
Well, you did it as soon as you realized.
You have to show action.
Delete the bot. Delete the bot.
If you get, there might be like a bot that bans you,
It's
but if they like
basically
play it back or they
allowed
look
if
into it,
it's
they'll
not
probably
used as
unban you.
an insult. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
if
I
you
use-
randomly said it, then doesn't mean anything. Hey guys, English teacher Bill Nye
Okay.
here.
I don't know if
You
I'm
can say it
mature
as long as you don't
content
get.
enabled, though. Whatever.
You can do it
It's
as long
fine.
as you don't. What's it called? As long as.
All right, let me look at. Okay,
forgot.
also, if you're new to this
No,
channel,
of
I
course
am
you-
streaming this voice call on Twitch. So if
This
you say
call is
something, just be
recorded
aware
for
you're being streamed,
quality assurance
as usual,
purposes.
etc., etc. Okay, let me
Do you
read
know
through
any
some of the
good Black
questions
Friday
here.
What is the
Sorry, can I get a
difference?
Twitch plug real quick? What's your Twitch?
Guys,
If
guys,
you click on my
if you have
Discord
a
profile, you
question-
should be able to see that I'm streaming.
I got
Guys,
it.
if you have a question, at Aegis, and then type your question in.
It's
Are you the new
4,000
son for
plus.
Ages? What have I missed? Ages? Is this kid replacing me? No.
Not much.
No,
No,
this is not happening.
nothing.
Better not.
Is 4,000 plus 18 flat a reasonable overclock? Not really. I think you can definitely do better than that in most cases.
Well, then what's better than that?
I mean, at 4,000, I would at least try to get like, I don't know, like,
16 flat, 39.
on a good kit, you could do like, stop aiming for flat, because when you tighten your subs, it's not gonna look flat. Trust me. On B-die, on anything, it's not gonna look flat. Only XMPs look like that. Trust me. Like it's not gonna look flat.
Hey, good. Yo, bro, I got a question.
Thank you, Moon and Zonzor for the follows.
But what should I aim for?
Thank you for help.
Dude, just there's no target to aim for. Just go as tight as you can. That's all it is. That's literally how RAM works. It's like it's like playing whack-a-mole. You just like poke it until you get it in the right place. That's all it is. There's no
Who needs
target.
18 terabytes.
The only
Jesus
time you have a
Christ.
target is if you use like DRAM calc, or like you have a preset target that you think you can hit reasonably without having to use stability testing. Like that's the only time you have a preset target. But usually when people do it, it's you're just tightening the nuts down until you can get them as tight as they go, you know? That's what I've been doing. It's like I do like one sub at a time, like once a day. What is the exact date you recommend buying PC build parts soon? I'm gonna say around the 20th or so. If the AMD GPUs sell out immediately and then they don't come back by then, that'll be unfortunate. But at least we'll get
Aren't
to
they
know
coming
how they
out
perform by
December?
then. So that's basically going to be the last major hardware launch for a little while. So that's going to be like the final bell toll.
Comes
That's
out
going to
in
be the
December,
right at the end there. December would also be a good time to buy, but most people are, you know,
I thought
most people
I'm
who are
saying,
asking
I
me,
thought-
they don't want to wait that long. So November
I
would
thought
be a
the
good
new
middle
AMD
ground.
GPUs came out. That's why. That's
No, the
what
new
came
AMD
out.
GPUs are coming out November 18th. There is one coming in
There?
December, but it's
Oh.
not relevant to people here. What's
Not
the best build
relevant.
for a gaming PC? Depends on what country you're in, what budget you have, what time of
What's
games
the
you're
best
playing,
car
etc.,
for
etc.
driving?
Would you be able to make me a list from scratch based on what I want to do with it when the date rolls around? Yeah, that's what I do here. That's literally my job here. Okay.
All right. Well, I just don't
Pretty
want to
much.
plug you. Well, I just don't want to like hold you up on
No,
anyone
no, 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 no,
else,
no,
you
no,
know.
dude. That's literally
He has
the
a
only
year
reason why
off.
I'm
He
pushing
has
people off and telling them
infinity
to come
time.
back later is because I literally think that's a better idea. It's not that I don't want to make them lists. Like typically what I do here, like during busy times, is I'm making lists. I'm churning them out constantly.
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to be like polite and just like give you
No,
some.
no, that's
time.
fine. That's fine.
Aegis,
USA
continue,
$1,500 Escape from Tarkov. Zanzoro, if you can come back in about 2 weeks from now, I think that'll be a much better time to pick parts and then buy your parts. I would not plan your parts this early. Now is not a very good time to be planning parts for a build because Black Friday prices are going to change what I recommend to people because certain parts, maybe they were more expensive before, go down in price and then they're worth buying. And then there's also the new AMD GPUs, motherboards, SSDs, etc. Okay, can you EVGA step down? No, you
Mr.
cannot.
Aegis.
You cannot. The GPU you replace your GPU with has to be an upgrade from the one you already have.
So with the EVGA 2060 Super, do you get supplement step-up program?
Any EVGA GPU that you buy new from a verified retailer is eligible for the step-up program. You can buy a 980 Ti. If you can find a 980 Ti new, you can literally use that to step up. Yes.
If you can buy it, wait, what if you bought a 1030? Because you can
could
still
do
buy
that
those
too. Yeah,
official.
it's anything. The GPUs you
Oh,
can step
damn.
up to are limited, but
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
so if I buy an overpriced EVGA card, can I step up to an actually good card?
yeah, you can. You can buy a 2080 Super for
pay
like
the
$1,000.
difference,
I mean,
yeah.
no, that's a bad example. You can buy like a 2070 for like $700 and then step up and have zero cost change because it's the same price.
Same MSRP, same MSRP checked out.
I'm sorry for this, but my
Aegis.
budget only lets me upgrade this old
buy,
office PC in my house, so I need help with parts for upgrading. My budget is $400. My office PC has a really bad processor, but it's enough for what I
What's
want.
DM?
Okay, is a good GPU, but still getting some RAM and a power supply. Okay, is your office PC DDR4 or is it DDR3? I'm assuming it's DDR3, but let me know. I was gonna buy a 5700 XT. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, you want to join the Discord call? Yeah, I can do that for you. I think that's how that
Yo,
works.
Aegis, bro.
There you go. No, it's DDR3. Okay, so buying DDR3 RAM, you're probably gonna end up buying off of eBay. That's probably a good time. Hey,
Or
Aegis,
Amazon.
what
They have
monitor
cheap
would you
kitchen.
recommend for a curved ultra-wide 144 Hz 1440p to 4K monitor?
Oh, wait,
If you
who
want
needs
an
help
ultra-wide
with the Office
1440p
PC?
panel,
I have
that's pretty
experience
good.
a lot.
The 34GN 850, I think. The 34GN 850
idea.
is good. At this time, right now. If you want to wait for Black Friday, monitor sales happen very often on Black Friday, so I would wait for that. Yeah, there
Let
you
me
go.
see your PC, Aegis.
My PC, I'll put it in Twitch chat. There you go.
Well, no, I was talking to Aegis.
If you want the best Samsung G9, I
what happened?
guess. Yeah. What do I
I
do
was
if,
just
I have
looking at-
maggots in my PC case? It's
can
gross and
barely
I
hear
don't
you.
know
Let me
what
turn
to
you
do.
up.
I don't want to touch them.
What'd you say?
You might have
Light
been,
your-
I don't know,
Wait, no,
call,
no, no.
Your lid.
call an
Change your
exterminator, because
PC
if you have maggots in your PC case,
Oh,
you
yeah.
probably have maggots other places in your house, so that's
Just
probably
my
not a
PC
good
right
thing.
now.
No, you know what you do? You're supposed to change the case to like the Bit Phoenix Enso.
4K ultra wides are
95, no cooler, and there
Yeah,
that'll
dude,
kill
that's my
a whole
PC right
packet.
now.
Yeah, 4K ultra wides aren't really I mean they're kind of a thing, but they're not really a thing. There are some 4K ultra wides, but none of them are high refresh rate, and we don't really recommend any of them for gaming. Yeah, so many people talking. Yeah, I know.
Yo, Aegis, bro. So, yo, dude. So, Aegis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm reading your questions. Sorry, I would be getting through these questions faster, but
Yeah, I literally put in my question like 3 times.
yeah, I'm sorry. It's just there's
It's okay.
Guys, you have to be understandable. He's helping a lot of people right now.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
even that.
understand.
It's just
I'll back you up, Aegis.
whatever.
Who needs help?
Anyways, what is the difference in
think I know
speed
what
between the i7 8700 and 8700K? Good question. So I kind of been thinking about this recently, like unlocked versus locked Intel CPUs, like the 10700 versus the 10700K, and it's like there's actually not that much of a performance difference, even when you overclock the K CPU. But the main logic behind going for the K CPU if you're going for Intel instead of like 10700K instead of a 10700 is because if you're going Intel, you're already paying more to get like slightly more performance, so you may as well go K. Like you may as well go K and then actually maximize that, like the impact of going Intel instead of AMD in certain workloads, and make that difference more noticeable.
Oh yeah, so Aegis,
yeah.
because I already own
And
the
which one will
8700.
bottleneck the 3080? Neither of them will bottleneck the 3080. Also, the 8700 and 8700K are so close to being the best gaming CPUs available right now for gaming. I said gaming CPUs for gaming, but they're so close to being the best gaming CPUs right now. So the best gaming CPU right now would be like, I don't know, maybe a 5800X or a 10900K or something like that. And the 8700K is like, it's biting at the heels of both those CPUs. So it's very close to them. So the thing about when people ask me, you know, hey, I have a really high-end CPU and a really high-end GPU. Is there going to be a bottleneck? Is one of them going to bottleneck the other? Well, like even if one of them bottlenecks the other, there's nothing you can do to fix that because you have two parts that are essentially the best parts in both their categories. So there's no way to get rid of that bottleneck. Like, let's say, for example, you take an 8700K and a 3080, or a better example, let's say you take a 10900K and a 3080, and you're playing, I don't know, like Fortnite at 720p low settings, and you know your CPU is definitely going to be the bottleneck there, right? But is there anything you can do to improve the bottleneck to like replace the CPU with a better one? No. So it's like the same thing as happens with the 8700K and the 8700. Both those CPUs are really close to being the best gaming CPU. So even if one of them bottleneck the 3080 and whatever you're doing, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Aegis, there's one more thing. I'm not playing a 1080p. I'm playing a 1440. So what's the deal with that? So.
Sorry. Oh, you're playing
like,
a 1440p? Then it matters even less. Yeah. Then it matters even less.
So like. Here's the thing, because if I have an like 8700K, right, and then I have a 9700K or like a fucking 10900K, and what's the difference with the frames, right? Because I currently own an 8700 on my thing, and then if I put the 3080 in there, and then maybe upgrade the CPU down the line, what's the difference in frames? I go to like a say 10900K.
You can look up benchmarks, but it's gonna be like, okay, I'll make this more obvious and more clear for you. Okay. There is no CPU that currently exists that is worth upgrading to from the 8700 or 8700K for gaming. Wait for DDR5 if you want a CPU to upgrade to from the 8700 or 8700K. Okay. What is the exact date you recommended? Okay, I already answered that question. Oh, I'm really scrolled up right now for some reason. Twitch streamers DMCA'd after deleting clips. Ad block 480p rumor. Whack. Do you expect memory to have price drops during Black Friday? A little bit, but not that much. 3080 and 5600X good combo. The thing about the 3080 and 5600X is that, like, if you're playing on a 3080, you should be playing at 1440p. And if you're playing at 1440p, the difference between a 3600 and 5600X is pretty minimal. So it's kind of weird. It's like the more you spend on your GPU, the less you spend on your CPU. It's a weird concept.
And then,
I tend to say it's a good combo because if you can afford a 3080, you can probably afford the 5600X. You may as well get that minimal difference, and it's like not a big deal. So, and then of course in future games, you know, things might change in terms of utilization.
But then Thunderlord said that the 10400 is gonna cut the 3080 at 14.
So yeah, there you go. Sure, good combo if you have the money for it. My memory is extremely good, not my RAM type memory. Yeah, Sea Turtle knows all the things. He knows exactly how to calculate where Tracer's bullets go. So he destroys the enemy GMs like they're plats. Like they're plat chat. What is the difference in speed? Okay, I already answered that question.
It's still relevant.
Is 1080p gaming dead? No, it's not going to be dead for quite a long time. It's the most relevant. 1080p is the most relevant resolution for gaming.
Yeah.
This is my PC right now, Lamau. Cool. It's almost as bad as my PC. I have a 3400G. Welcome to the Vega
Did I
Club.
write Lamau twice? Oh no, I didn't.
Okay. Because I currently own the 8700 plate and I play at 1440p. Yeah, there's no reason to change it. Are there any disadvantages and major differences between MATX and ATX other than size and occasional VRM quality? Actually, extremely good question. Someone clip this shit. No, I'm kidding. Okay. There is no inherent difference between micro ATX and ATX besides dimensions. Micro ATX is essentially a shorter ATX. Yes, you can argue that there's a correlation. Yes, you can say that, yes, ATX has more PCB space, so it's more likely to have more PCI slots and a better and more space configuration so you can fit more devices. Or yes, ATX ports are more likely to have more DIMM slots or more SATA ports or, you know, more features for overclocking or whatever. Like, but the thing is, every time you look at a motherboard, you don't just look at its form factor, you look at its actual features. So always compare motherboards on an individual basis, just like you compare, I don't know, like CPUs on an individual basis instead of just saying Intel versus AMD or like really anything. You know, you compare people on an individual basis on their individual merits instead of like, you know, just characteristics or qualities that are, you know, oddly specific. So in terms of things that actually affect you, like people that care about motherboards, they care about these things. Can my motherboard support the CPU that I have? Has nothing to do with micro ATX or ATX. Can my motherboard, does it have enough SATA ports for me? Very little to do with it. It's like, some people even argue that ATX has better expandability or upgrade options. And that's just simply not true. It's like, what are you going to upgrade? You need like, oh, instead of having 6 SATA ports, you need 8 SATA ports. So you're going to go ATX. Like, who the fuck in this community uses 8 SATA ports. Not me. Not like
I mean, if
anyone
you
I've ever
know,
talked to.
if you know, you don't need to ask the difference, honestly.
And then like, who uses like extra PCI devices? Like, and micro ATX boards, some of them do have 2 PCI X16 slots. So it's like, why? Like, do you need more than 2 X16 slots? Like, what are we doing?
SLI's dead, yeah.
Okay.
SLI
But
dead.
that's basically it.
If Wi-Fi card is X1, which
Thank you.
Yeah, so look at it on an individual basis. Now, a lot of people think that ATX is the default and micro ATX is like the cheap budget version and it's like what you should go for. It's like worse in a way or like cheaped out or something. Here's what I think. In an age where people basically only put one PCIe device in their system, and that's
we live in a
GPUs,
society.
or maybe a Wi-Fi card, or maybe, I don't know, like a network card, like a NIC that's either wireless or non-wireless. But most people, they put one device in their systems. That's the GPU. That's the PCI device they put in their systems. The age of, network cards, sound cards, that age is gone. So like, because that age is over, micro ATX should be the new default. Because the main reason why you would go ATX is because it has more PCI slots, generally speaking. And even that's kind of flawed, because micro ATX boards, some of them have a good enough layout to support 2x16, even with large slot devices. So it's like, micro ATX should be the default from now on, and ATX should only be used if the price is better or you're looking for specific features that can only be found on specific ATX boards. But that's basically it. Yeah.
What's the link to 3600 RAM?
3070 and 5600X good combo. I will probably play 1440p. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you want to wait for the new AMD GPUs, maybe that's going to be better off, but we'll see. Is 130 for 2x16 Crucial Ballistics a good price? Not really. It's just okay. Hey Aegis, some games on Steam. Okay, you're Gary Some. Okay, thanks for the follow. I think I said that already maybe. Some games on Steam that I like to play, MHW, Fallout, have a high resolution download that requires 8 GB of VRAM to run. I currently have a 1660 Ti which has 6 gigs. If I buy another 1660 Ti and put it in and connect it with SLI, would I have 12 gigs of GPU power and be able to play those games in high resolution without? No. First of all, the 1660 Ti doesn't even support SLI. And second, SLI doesn't pool VRAM. Actually, okay, if you use TCC mode using NVLink, you can pull VRAM, but I guarantee you, no game supports that. And certainly, if the 1660 Ti had SLI support, it certainly wouldn't support TCC mode. So no, you cannot pool VRAM using SLI in basically any game, and that is not how VRAM works either. So yeah, no. I'm pretty sure on a 1660 Ti you can play those games without having too many issues. A lot of VRAM requirements are not that strict. You can play kind of.
And then you look
at
the actual computing power, and it's just like, whoa, this is way below.
So
yeah,
if you do want like an 8 gig card or whatever,
works.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
too. The difference between a motherboard with Wi-Fi.
It would be
without,
really
it's like
nice if you
everyone
could
has
just buy
Wi-Fi.
another card and basically double your performance and double the VRAM. That would be really nice. But
It's pretty much the motherboard that comes
that's
with
pretty
Wi-Fi,
hard to do.
Like
It's pretty hard to do.
wireless, you can connect to wireless. You don't have to.
Okay, yeah, I'm new to putting everything together.
Intel versus AMD, which is better? If you like
Loaded
blue,
question.
Intel. If you like red, AMD. There you go. Dumb questions get dumb answers.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah,
do you mean by colors,
whenever we
like,
compare Intel versus AMD, you always have to look at it on a per processor basis because Intel has good has good CPUs for certain budgets and certain use cases. Same thing with
As of
AMD.
now.
One isn't clearly dominating the other right now. Some people will argue that AMD is dominating the space right now. In the community, certainly AMD has more favor than Intel does, but that isn't to say that Intel is completely irrelevant on the CPU side of things. Intel actually has some pretty good budget CPUs, which is something you might not expect, but yeah. What cards can SLI and is there a list I can look at? Yeah, the 2070 and above can SLI on Turing, and on Ampere, the 3090 can SLI. That's the only card that can SLI. Yeah, SLI is not really relevant these days for typical consumer gaming. Buy a motherboard with Wi-Fi or without? If not, can I still connect to Wi-Fi? Lol. If you want to connect to Wi-Fi, you need a Wi-Fi adapter, a Wi-Fi NIC of some sort. You can either get a motherboard with Wi-Fi or get a motherboard without one and then get a Wi-Fi adapter. They're essentially the same thing. A motherboard with Wi-Fi comes with a kind of an M.2 Wi-Fi card built in and hidden under its IO shield shroud somewhere. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. That actually cleared up a lot for me for motherboard selection. Thank you so much. No problem, dude. Motherboards are fucking weird, and there's so much bad information about them in just, you know, the PC building community. What's the difference between Ballistics Elite and normal Ballistics? Ballistics Elite is higher bin. It's the gamer Ballistics RAM.
Gamer Ballistics.
3600 C16 RAM for $62? No way. It's probably 16, 19, 19, isn't it?
It's oily.
It's 16, 18, 20. Wait, you said 3600 C16. This is 3600 C18.
I didn't see C16. I meant like 16 gigabytes. I said right there.
Oh, 16 gigs. That's not even that good of a price.
18,
No?
20, 20.
That's not that great. Yeah. And
8
18,
GB
20,
RAM.
20 is ass. That's terrible.
That box is kind of horrible though. Just like as a food for thought thing.
Bro, I answered NVLink pools VRAM. Not necessarily. You need application level support for pooling VRAM. That's still kind of an experimental feature. My case has a USB 3.0 front I/O, but the slot in the motherboard I'm looking has a USB 3.2 written behind it. Will it work?
Yes, they rewrit USB.
Just refer to your motherboard manual. If the pinout matches, then yes. Because there's no USB that like mirrors pinout.
Yeah, they rewrote USB.
What's the
spec.
difference between a motherboard with Wi-Fi and without? I already answered that just now. Okay.
It has
One
Wi-Fi.
has Wi-Fi.
Asus GeForce RTX 2060 or the Asus AMD Radeon 5500 XT. Those two GPUs are so far apart in price that I'm not even sure why you're considering them together. The 2060 is like $300 and the 5500 XT is like under 200. So I don't know why you're comparing them. And I would get neither. If you wanted a 2060 and you badly need a GPU right now, get an EVGA 2060 and step up. I wouldn't even consider the 5500 XT right now. Just really parroting what I've said in chat already? No, I said it faster than you did. But yeah, whatever.
I love how you say that as good justification.
Intel has 8 cores, no. AMD has 6 cores, no. AMD has like 16 cores on their consumer, and Intel is going down to 8 cores next generation on consumer. So that's nice. Aegis is the biggest parrot, KEKW. Just get a Wi-Fi adapter. It's cheaper than getting it built in. Not necessarily. In fact, a lot of the time these days,
Aorus Elite AX is mad cheap right now.
that is not the board I would point to as a good example of that.
No, he has to
Because
show
that board is $150, whereas a non-Wi-Fi board that competes with it is way less than like $20 less. So that's not always the case. Sometimes getting a Wi-Fi adapter is
Wi-Fi.
Sometimes
which
getting a
is-
Wi-Fi adapter is more expensive than just getting a Wi-Fi board. And on top of that, a lot of Wi-Fi boards are just better boards than the non-Wi-Fi boards we compare them to. For example, on Intel B460, if you don't need Wi-Fi, you would go for something like the B460 MA Pro, which is a really bare bones board, not a very good board. And then if you wanted Wi-Fi, for about $20 to $25 more, you can get a B460M Pro VDH Wi-Fi, which not only is Wi-Fi for about the same price that you would pay for an adapter, but it's also just a better board in general, like a much better board in general. So you have to consider that too. A lot of people just think it's just Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi, but also Wi-Fi boards a lot of the time tend to be better boards just in general.
Yeah. Sometimes they are very similar though, like Aorus
Yeah,
Elite.
you might have like a B460M DS3H AC, which is essentially a DS3H with Wi-Fi, and then B450M DS3H Wi-Fi, B450M/AC. Those are exceptions, but stuff like Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, for example, it's just a better board than like the Z498 Pro.
That's a great motherboard.
Is it better to use Ethernet with a motherboard with or without Wi-Fi? You can only choose one. I mean, you can have both of them connected to your system, but your system is going to choose one. You can't use both at the same time. What's a good CAD price for an NVMe PCI Gen 3 1TB SSD? If you're waiting for Black Friday, my answer will change very heavily by then. But let's pretend you're buying now. For I don't know, fun, I guess. If this is fun. Let's look at a 1TB. Why do you want an NVMe drive in particular? I mean, there is a really cheap one. There you go.
NVMe.
SN550, MP33. These are both decent drives. They're like $125 for 1TB. That's pretty good. Is the 5500 XT dead? It was dead on arrival. Yeah, the 5500 XT is another GPU that's essentially been irrelevant since release. I fixed up. I'm looking for a good AIO white for Black Friday. Dude, just come back nearer to Black Friday, not now. I've already talked to you about this and I've gone over one of your lists before. I'm not doing it again. Why does Silicon shill it then? Silicon claims that driver improvements have lifted the 5500 XT significantly above the 1650 Super, and that's not true. So, yeah, that's basically it. What 2060 do you recommend for a good price? If you absolutely need a GPU right now, if you absolutely
right by their mic.
If you absolutely need a GPU right now, and you can only spend like $300 on a GPU, sure, get a 2060 KO from EVGA for like $300. That's fine because you can step up. But you know, if you can afford to wait, I would wait. That's basically it. Okay, let me answer my DMs. One sec. Jarks99. Hey there, I'm in Build Help 1. Was inquiring about 3070 versus 3080. Good question. The 3080 and 3070 are noticeably different. They're not like the 3090 and 3080, which is not noticeably different. So 3070, 3080 are actually in different performance tiers. But here's what I tend to say. Like, if you are happy with the 30, like, hold on, no. 95% of the people who are buying the 3080 are going to be happy with a 3070. So take what you will from that. They're both very high-end graphics cards. They will both play the same games to around the same extent. So if the 3080 can, you know, play a game on playable FPS, the 3070 will almost definitely do the same thing. Now, if you have the money to buy the 3080, it is a good card. It is strictly the better card. So I think it's more about whether you have the money or not. Like, if I had the money and I was playing, like, you know, AAA games, ultra settings, no doubt I'd buy the 3080. Or, like, assuming AMD's cards don't exist, right? Like, I buy the 3080. But, yeah, that's basically it. Okay. Another Q. Is 650 watts enough to power the 3080? Depends on which 650 depends on which 650 watt we're talking about, okay? Because unit quality also matters. The Rosewell Photon. The Photon is pretty ass, so I'm going to suggest that you replace that. And also depends on what CPU you're pairing with the 3080. So if you're pairing something like a 10900K with it, absolutely not. If you're pairing something like a, you know, a 5600X with it, maybe. 2600X, why are you buying a 3080 if you have a 2600X? I would balance it out and upgrade your CPU as well. Or if you're playing at 1440p, that's not as bad, but still, 3080, kind of weird. Kind of weird. This is a good case, right? That's not a case. That's
wrong. Yeah, the wrong link, cut up. Let me relink it. And save, bro.
I just realized I'm planning on getting a 6800 XT and a QSRG for Overwatch. Wait, Dark buying new parts to play Overwatch with Aegis?
What?
Oh my god.
Aegis, I'll play Overwatch with you.
Poggers! Yeah, you can play Overwatch with us.
I need to buy it though.
Oh, okay. I thought you already had Overwatch. I was like, okay.
I had it on my console.
If you already have Overwatch,
from the beginning.
There's Overwatch on console.
What is good, fast, 32 gigs of RAM? Are you going to be manually overclocking this RAM, or are you going to be a little bitch? No, okay. Okay. Is Overwatch demanding? No, not at all.
Bro, I guarantee you, my
I don't
PC
overclock.
can't
Okay, then why do you? If you don't overclock, then how are you trying to get fast RAM? Like, all RAM is slow if you don't overclock it. And even XMP is like kind of slow. How do you calculate the pH of a buffer solution? I don't know. Ask the fucking molecules in the buffer solution. Be like, hey, bro, got any protons? And you just ask each of the molecules individually. Hey, you got any protons? Hey, you got any protons? Hey, you got any? Eventually, you count them all up, and then that's it. Got a lot of protons? Got few protons? It's very simple. Okay, Dark World, it's that easy. All right, let me drink some water here. I literally don't meet the system requirements for Overwatch. I'm pretty sure you literally have a netbook. I'm pretty sure you literally have a netbook.
7200U moment.
Yeah, you literally have a netbook, okay?
Oh, the 215 is in stock?
Every time Dark World asks me a homework question, I'm just gonna meme on him. I'm just gonna meme on him, okay? And I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Okay? If you could talk to particles, you could ask each molecule and see if they have any protons available and calculate, you know, the power of hydrogen, using that. But like, he's too lazy.
Overclocking.
Dark World has that millennial energy. Okay, he's too lazy to go out and interview each of the particles themselves. Okay, he wants a formula. He wants a formula so he can do it. Is overclocking 3200 megahertz RAM to 3800 considered a doable
Listen,
overclock?
I know the whole thing.
3200 megahertz RAM is
You're mini me here. I'm like,
the 3200 megahertz RAM is extremely variable. Okay, some 3200 megahertz kits will wall themselves at 3400 and will not go anywhere above that. Some of them will easily go over 5000 megahertz. So depends on your kit. Depends on your kit. Sorry, I'm new to this whole thing. What does overclocking mean? Overclocking is the worst plague to ever cross this planet's domain, and never ask me that question. No, I'm kidding. Overclocking is basically it's like an exchange for your time, in exchange for your effort, in exchange for your research, in exchange for more power consumption, more heat output, potentially more noise, less stability, so your system might have a higher chance of crashing. In exchange for all of that, you get more performance. Okay. Oh, on top of that, yeah, your system lasts less time too, so it's like in exchange for like system longevity as well. Now that might sound like you're trading a lot of shit for like just more performance, right? And it's usually not that much performance either, so why would you overclock? Well, that's kind of all the bad things that can happen. Overclocking is not just a switch.
That's also why people do it. They want all of it.
Overclocking is not just a switch that you can, turn on and off. There's like a spectrum, okay? You can do like mild overclocking, or you could do crazy overclocking. If you do mild overclocking, you're definitely not gonna, reduce the lifetime of your system by any significant amount. And you're definitely not gonna run into heat issues most of the time. And you're probably not gonna run into crashing either if you do like a very mild overclock. So overclocking is really a reflection of your preferences. You can go really crazy, go high voltages, kill your parts within 2 months or 2 seconds, depending on how you set your voltage. It's really up to you. But overclocking overclocking just on the whole is basically okay, parts in your system run at a clock speed. You've probably heard of that before. Clock speed is how quickly the information in that part can change per second, basically. So your RAM, if it has a higher clock speed, it can change what data is in what place faster. Your monitor also has a clock speed. Your monitor also has a clock speed. If it runs at a higher clock speed, then it can display more images per second. There's more information changing per second. Your CPU, if that runs at a higher clock speed, it can do more calculations per second. Same thing with the GPU, also doing more calculations per second. So that's what overclocking does. You're literally lifting the clock speed. You were overclocking. You're lifting the clock speed of whatever you're doing. Now, overclocking does not necessarily mean you have to lift the clock speed. Overclocking is kind of a general term for any time you are modifying the electrical characteristics of your parts to get some sort of performance gain. Now, that may not be frames per second. That may be frame time stability. You may be trying to reduce your temperatures. Like, I consider undervolting to be a form of overclocking as well. Overclocking is basically a big blanket term that covers, I am modifying my parts in a way that they're not like this coming from the factory, okay? So overclocking is always opposed, in setting contrast to stock. So there's stock operation, overclocked operation. Stock operation is anything that's just come out of the box. If you just open something and you're using it the way it comes out of the box, we call that stock. So a stock cooler would be a cooler that comes with your CPU out of the box. Stock clock speeds would be what your CPU runs at out of the box, or what your RAM runs at out of the box, or what your GPU runs at out of the box. So anytime you go outside of what is considered stock, so what's out of the box, that's technically an overclock or a modification. I just basically use overclock and modification interchangeably, and a lot of people do that too. Now, there's a few parts you can overclock. You can overclock your CPU. You can overclock your CPU. You can overclock your GPU. You can overclock your RAM. Those are the big 3 parts people tend to overclock. However, overclocking is becoming a lot less relevant these days, and it's moving from a place of, hey, it's actually worth doing because you can get a lot of performance from this, to a place of, hey, we're just doing this because it's there and it's kind of fun, and you do get performance out of it, but it's nothing massive. So like, for example, CPU overclocking on recent Ryzen CPUs yields basically no noticeable gains in anything, except maybe like rendering workloads. So you know, overclocking is fun, sure. You know, you can get it in touch with your hardware, I guess, if that's of interest to you. But it's not necessarily for everybody, and it's becoming less relevant these days.
Well, you can get a couple more FPS in games. If you're trying to hit those higher FPS and you're trying to just push it that much more, that usually comes down to a GPU thing too. Unless you're like CPU, unless it's like a 1080p.
It depends on what you're doing. I would say, for example, like a CPU overclock these days tends to be like, let's say, okay, my example will be like 1080p, AAA titles, max settings.
Yeah.
A CPU overclock will typically net you like under 5% gains for average. A RAM overclock will net you, depending on it really depends on how far you push your RAM actually. So anywhere from like a couple percentage points to in 10 to 20% even more in certain games, certain titles. Actually, I said max settings, so that's probably a bad example. And then GPU, usually like 8% is the average of overclocks that I see on all architectures.
Unless you're bottlenecked by your CPU, you really won't see any like huge performance. Like if your CPU is hitting 100% usage when it's like 140, 150 FPS, and your GPU is only using 70, then yeah, overclock would actually help a little bit, alleviate some of that
Oh
pressure.
my god, Dark World, I thought you were better than this. I thought you were better than the nerds that go, actually, it's mega transfers per second, not megahertz, okay? It's actually mega transfers per second, okay? Don't be like this. Don't be like this, okay? You can arbitrarily define a clock cycle as a transfer cycle, okay? That's fine. It doesn't matter, okay? It's like being mad that like 7 nanometer is not actually 7 nanometers. It's not actually transistor dimension. It's like, yeah, we get it. You watch YouTube videos and people are angry about it. And it's like, this topic has been discussed verbatim for like the last half decade. Like, get over it. It's just a name.
Yeah, no one really cares about that. Only point it really matters is for Intel because they haven't been on 14 nanometers, so they're not able to.
No, people aren't angry. I mean, people are angry about that too, but like people are angry about the number specifically, not meaning anything. And it's like, yeah, it's basically a version number. Like they could name 7 nanometer, you know, node 1, and then, you know, 5 nanometer node 2, and then 3 nanometer node 3, and that would be essentially the same thing. It is misleading, but like anybody that actually looks at nanometer namings, like they know what that is. Like they know. It's very few people are in the Venn diagram in the middle where they like know what nanometer naming is and actually care about it, and then don't know that smaller doesn't necessarily mean like they're not equal across the foundries or whatever. Like
No,
whatever.
it just means that the electricity or the TDP is able to distribute better for a smaller nanometer because it's able to have direct contact to the actual CPU dies. So that's where more of the not CPU. Sorry, more of the heat transfer. Sorry.
Transistor size doesn't really correlate with greater surface area for heat transfer, but okay.
No, but doesn't it mean it connects? It has less room for it to touch, like less room for the distance between the top of the CPU die versus the Also, I'm way off. Just tell me if I'm way off. What I thought was that the actual top of the CPU, and that's the actual nanometers that matter. So like Intel has 14 nanometer, which is not really as much difference, but it makes heat output a lot easier because it's next closer to the actual CPU dies.
What is closer to the CPU die?
Well, it's 7 nanometers, so it's able to disperse heats just a little bit better than 14 nanometer, but not by a whole lot.
Wait, but what's the reasoning again?
Because it's closer to the actual CPU die.
No, I mean, what is closer to the CPU die? That was my question.
I think okay, so this is confusing and also stupid. Okay, so
hey,
I don't know.
I wasn't gonna go there. I'm just trying to get him to like explain his idea before I shoot it down.
I'm meaning, though.
I know it's stupid, but like I just wanted to hear.
He's talking about the lid. Hold on. He's talking about the lid on the fucking CPU touching the actual die, which is about the size of a dime when you take it off. He's saying that that's thicker supposedly with the bigger nanometer process, so it hits the die better, but that's stupid to say that argument, because why would they design it that way?
I want to hear. I want to hear like
That's
exactly what he means.
That's
like,
that's what I thought. I could be way off. I don't know.
I don't quite understand. So you're saying a smaller nanometer size means the die is thinner?
No, it's closer to the die. It's closer.
No,
to
what is closer to the die?
The CPU cooler.
What?
How does that make the CPU cooler get closer to the die?
Because
I think this is.
I could be way off. This is what I thought it was. Now, if I'm way up, I'm not saying that.
I just what? I just don't.
Okay,
I don't even comprehend how that connects to.
Okay, I'm pretty sure when they design a chip that they put the top part, the cover over the die. I'm pretty sure it meets the die as close as they can get it to.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure that's just a thing. There's not really a discussion around different variations. I'm pretty sure it's optimized for how it's built.
Yeah, and that is nothing to do with the process node. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was. I admit to being wrong. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was the 14 nanometer was the lid, versus the 7 nanometer, which is the lid of the AMD. That's what I thought it was.
Oh no, yeah, we call that an IHS, an integrated heat spreader. That has nothing to do with process node. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what it was.
No. Yeah, CPU improvements, process node improvements are much more important than changing the thickness of the IHS. That's much more easy to do.
Did Intel do that for their last Rocket Lake?
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're getting confused by. Okay, so Intel did introduce what's called thin die STIM, or thin die solder TIM, and TIM being thermal interface material, on their last iteration of Skylake, I guess, which would be 10th gen. Yeah. Not Rocket Lake, that'd be Comet Lake. So the reason why all these 10th gen CPUs are so much cooler than the 9th gen CPUs is that Intel has essentially thinned their die to an optimal amount. Whereas last generation, people who cared a lot about cooling were lapping their dies. So essentially, okay, when you look at a CPU, you see there's like a metal cover on top of the actual die itself. If you take that off and you look at the die has got a little bit of thickness to it. And if you have too much thickness, you can have a lot of heat build up there, and there's not really good thermal dissipation. There's like an unnecessary material there that's going to build up heat. And what people were doing was they were trying to lap away, or literally use fine sandpaper to get material off of the die, off of that substrate there, not the substrate, but off of the die, and make that die as thin as possible without actually damaging any of the silicon that's functional. So what Intel did was, okay, yeah, we see you guys are die lapping, and we should just do that ourselves. We should just make that part of our process manufacturing. And they basically just lap their dies for you, and now it's kind of unsafe to do it yourself on 10th gen because the dies are so thin. But that's what's you've been seeing that thermal performance improvement on 10th gen, which is why something like the 9900K is extremely hot, but something like the 10700K is much more manageable. So yeah, those two are still in the same node though. Those are still both 14 nanometer plus. So
would there be any difference? I'll say Intel was on 7 nanometer versus AMD. Would there be like any huge performance gains on Intel's part, or would there not be really any benefits?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Okay, so Intel is a foundry, right? They manufacture their own silicon and they design their own process technologies, while AMD doesn't do that in-house. They outsource to TSMC, which I'm sure you've heard of, who does 7 nanometer or N7. So
aren't they? Isn't Intel switching over to them too?
Yeah, possibly. There have been talks about that. So the thing about 7 nanometer is that the reason why people are angry that it's inconsistent is that it's not actually consistent across different manufacturers. So TSMC 7 nanometer is nothing like Intel 7 nanometer. Intel 7 nanometer is far more dense and potentially far more complex as well. But Intel 7 nanometer is not in any products right now. It's still in development. Whereas TSMC 7 nanometer has been out for like maybe 2 years now. It's been taped out for a very long time. So
Intel, the best is I think, don't they have one 10 nanometer one?
Someone's asking 1660 Ti or 2060.
Yeah, so
2060.
Intel does have some 10 nanometer parts, but the reason why Intel's been famously stuck on 14 nanometer for so long is because 10 nanometer was supposed to be a very big leap for Intel, but they set very unrealistic expectations on all the improvements that they were going to seek with 10 nanometer, and that really delayed and pushed back 10 nanometer. It's been probably like half a decade now that 10 nanometer has been pushed back at this point, and we're still not seeing it in desktop parts. So that's kind of the reason why Intel's been stagnating these last 5 years, and why AMD has been doing better. Because one of the benefits of outsourcing your node is that you can kind of pick and choose whoever you want to fab your processors, and you don't have to rely on your own engineers and your own technologies to mature in order to move forward with density and density gains just in general. Whereas Intel, you know, if they had their own fuck ups, you know, they're kind of stuck with themselves. They use their own fabs.
I mean, the nice thing about with AMD too is the fact that they, the AMD was never technically better than Intel until the 5th gen for gaming. I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Because the fact that Intel technically had the crown, but AMD is looking like it's the better option, even if not all games are technically better overall. Even if you just half the games have better performance, and then on top of that you're streaming at the same time on the same computer, you're already going to be much better anyways.
I mean, streaming isn't really a relevant CPU workload these days. We don't really consider CPUs too much for streaming, or really any encoding work these days, because
you can use NVIDIA.
Yeah, because GPU encoding has just become so much better. But
well, if you're talking about if you wanted to optimize your game, so you wanted to get the most FPS in a game, you're still going to use that CPU too.
No, you would not.
Well, if you want, let's say you're trying to hit 144 FPS on Modern Warfare, the new one, at 4K.
Yeah,
you're obviously you're going to take some the hit on the 4K 144. So wouldn't you? I assume you still want to use a CPU for the encoding.
No, you would not.
No, you wouldn't lose that much. In fact, just to step in the notes here, you could assign your OBS broadcaster, whatever source you're using. You could affinity processor or change your affinity so that it doesn't even get touched by that while you're gaming. It wouldn't even get. So if there was any pull from your CPU, you wouldn't see it. And most video cards using NVENC, it uses jack shit. So it's not 5 years ago. Just to solve that equation, it's not 5 years ago anymore.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
So you could like run a Ryzen 5 5600X, and then just get like a 3070 call a day.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, AMD's new encoder may be good, but we don't have any information on it right now, besides that it's new. So
all I heard was it was fast, which
I mean, there's literally zero information on this. In fact, it's not even covered in any press kits. I only found it because I was digging through like driver release notes on like the Linux patches for like the new Navi cards. It's just written in there. It's like, yo, we're using VCN 3.0, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
It's probably just going to be a royalty paid to NVIDIA under a sub name, and they're just going to use the same technology. And
no, it's definitely not the same technology. NVIDIA's is definitely very different from AMD's implementation, at least for now.
I will say NVIDIA too has a huge advantage over AMD because of the fact. Did you see the press note where like you can literally use a green screen from your capture card or green capture card?
Benchmarks don't show much of a difference at 60 FPS 4K. If you're trying to hit 4K 60, you don't really need a 3070. Like 4K 60 is a much easier target than a lot of people give it credit for. So like, maybe wait for the 3060 to come out or something like that, because I'm sure that'll do 4K 60.
I'm pretty sure I can almost hit that with my 10 series card.
Yeah,
like you don't even need a 3K series card for that shit.
Yep,
honestly.
I mean, I don't know why. So whenever I play Red Dead 2, I try to play 1080p max settings. It just tanks.
All right, let me scroll through here. This is a good case, right? Landcool 215. Okay, don't shit on Landcool 215 just because Montech Air exists. Okay. What if? Okay, all right, come on. Lee and Lee is the homies. All right, you can't just be doing like this. All right,
Ryu, it's not even the same price.
Anyways, yeah, I know that was a really long explanation for what overclocking is in Nep2, but I hope you understand it now. It basically boils down to, you know, you have some extra time, you want some extra performance from your system, you just want to like have fun, look at some hardware shit. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're building your own PC. You may as well do some weird nerdy shit if you want.
I mean, I don't overclock my CPU at all.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I personally just don't need to.
The ballistics RGB are good for overclocking, right? Yeah, they are. I mean, I wouldn't get the 3600 C16 kits, but like the cheaper ones, sure. What's the difference between Zotac Gaming 2070 Super and a developer 2070 Super? What do you mean develop? He's not even in the right channel. Why is he tagging me? Okay. What's the best PSU, preferably fully modular 130 or under? That would be right now. There's an 850 watt one that's like, I think the Revolution DF 850 is like 130 exactly. If you want to go a little below that, I think there's a LEDX 3 Gold.
I can go up to 130. That's fine. I mean,
okay, sure.
Everyone gives me crap about it being overpriced. Not overpriced, too much power.
Dude, it's fine. Like, you're not gonna get hurt by having too much power. Yeah, unless you're getting a large power supply. Unless you're getting like, I don't know, like a 1200 plus watt power supply, and you're using very little power, and you have really shitty low load efficiency. But typically, really large power supplies have good low load efficiency. So whatever.
Everyone getting a 1,000 watt.
It doesn't even matter.
You're getting a 1,000 watt power supply.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah, there's a lot of free. There's LEDX free is on sale. LEDX.
LEDX 3600 C14. Yeah, nice meme. EVGA 2060 KO Ultra or the SC
I already
Ultra
got everything. Or why are you
He's about to give us all Corona.
Doesn't the 1660 Ti beat the 2060 in boost and price? Okay, please never compare GPUs by boost clock. I swear to God, there were people telling me, yeah, I saw the new RX 6000 cards and they are going over 2 gigahertz on their boost clock, but Nvidia's not hitting 2 gigahertz. I was like,
Here's what I do. Here's the best thing you can do. Go on YouTube and just look up the FPS benchmarks.
Just look at benchmarks. But like comparing GPUs by clock speed is even dumber than comparing CPUs by clock speed, because there's even more factors when it comes to GPUs that are besides clock speed to consider.
Yeah.
There's cores. There's
Wait, Aegis, would you rather want higher IPC or higher clock speed?
Depends on what I'm doing. I guess generally higher IPC, but again, it depends on how much higher are we considering for both? What application? What are you talking about, GPUs or CPUs or like, I don't know.
Talking about CPU,
the thing is IPC is such an ambiguous term that like I can't really, even if you did give me parameters, I can't really answer that question.
Okay.
Like when you have to understand, when AMD and Intel give like IPC increase claims, which may or may not be correct, they're based off an average of workloads. So whatever you choose to include in that average can skew your IPC gains like up or down. In certain in certain applications, the jump from Ryzen 3000 to Ryzen 5000 IPC was like I think it was like 89% or something like that in certain quantum computing applications. In certain cryptography applications, whereas in certain other benchmarks, I think like Perl, it was like 2%. So it's like, it depends on the application. Usually Intel and AMD will use like spec 2017 averages for like different micro benchmarks, but it's like, it depends on what you're doing. Because like, if you look at the term itself, instructions per clock, what instructions? Like x86 CPUs, modern x86 CPUs have an ass load of instructions. It's like, which instructions, how many of them, at what time, in what order? It's like all of that changes what IPC means and how it works.
I just realized, how come no one does benchmarking at 720p?
Because I mean, a lot of people do. For
CPU though.
No. A lot of people do, especially for CPU, because that's where CPU would matter more. But it's just not as popular because 720p is just not a target market for new gaming PCs these days.
1080p is like the sweet spot. But if you really want to see how well a CPU does versus a different CPU, you're putting more trust in the CPU versus the GPU.
Yeah, I mean, there are reviewers that do 720p. No, it's not no one. It's just less common because reviewers will cater to whatever market is majoritarian, you know?
I just think 720p would also be like a good benchmark for numbers. Like you do 720p, 1080p, 1440, and then 4K.
What's the best PSU preference? Okay, we already answered that. So yeah, the 2060 is better than the 1660 Ti. Don't make a mistake there. It is better. Don't look at clock speed, please. And make sure the KO Ultra is like 320 or lower. Why was the 10850KA cheaper than the normie 10850K in Aussie land? Because they wanted that Marvel money. That's why. Brand deals. I actually don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe the 10850K had like better supply because it's a new product. Is Earthwatts Gold Pro enough for a 3070 3080? Yes. Yeah, it is. Yes. Full stop. Get Aegis to review that list.
Aegis, to add on to that, would
Yeah.
it be worth paying $10 more for Fantex amp?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold up. I think it's cheaper in the US too.
Okay, I'll review your list.
It's the same price.
No, Aegis, actually, if that's the Aura one, he already has
The new
everything.
MacBooks with ARM are coming out on the 10th. I don't think they're coming out that soon. They're supposed to be like middle of next year from what I heard. If they're coming out on the 10th, I'll be really impressed because that's really fast.
Someone in the chat said check the GTS 250.
And I'm assuming when you say ARM, you mean Apple Silicon. Hello. Yeah, let's look at your list. Well, you're not wrong.
Aegis,
I'm just clarifying.
Aegis, don't review Aura's list because he already has everything. Just recommend the GPU.
Oh, unlucky. Yeah, just go for like a 2060 from EVGA or whatever. If you
No, but
only have that much
2060
to spend.
KO's price gouge, so even if you
Just go for an EVGA card that fits your price budget. New.
I mean, but then like step up because
and
like
then step up. Yeah, the
whole-
price doesn't matter because it's whatever cost you paid,
Yeah,
not
'cause
the
it's
actual
what
MSRP.
yeah, the
of the card.
additional one, yeah.
You're better off just getting it on a used market.
No,
No, but
definitely.
step
you can't
up.
step up on used market. Yeah, unless they give
Well,
you proof
step
of
up on
purchase, which
V-Stock.
is sketchy.
But you could the thing with the
Like, there's
26
zero point to buying used market if you're gonna try step up because the whole point of going used is to save money, and if you're stepping up, it's cost difference anyway, so it doesn't
I
matter.
guess, but if you're just talking about if you want 2060, that's all you want.
I mean, still, I still wouldn't get a used 2060 right now. It's an awful time to be doing that.
I'm gonna
'Cause
show my
the
list.
thing is, if used 2060s were priced what they're actually worth, then sure. But the market, there is no 2060 competitor that's a new generation GPU, so the market has nothing to base its estimates off of. So people are still selling 2060s for like 300. What's the reason they add a TI to a graphics card? It depends. It's just
Titanium.
segmentation because TI and Super, it's basically just you run out of numbers, you want a GPU between these two GPUs so more people can buy shit. That's when you buy it. Marketing companies or there's like whenever you hear about like data science and whatever, this is an example of data science. Marketing companies will literally develop models to estimate exactly how many models they should have spaced at which prices to maximize profit based on the market coverage that they have versus how much resources it takes to create extra SKUs. So that's why you have a specific number of SKUs and at any given time.
My name's the best name ever.
2070 Super Ti KO Ultra. I like it.
Yeah.
Bro, can you just make a
I gotta
PC
go.
course? Wow, okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's
You
not
just gotta
always
get
it's not always going to be because like TI can be a revision, but it can also be just another part of the stack. So like 2080 Ti, for example, was released around the same time as the rest of the first gen Turing cards. So it's not a revision. It's just it's higher because they didn't want to call it the 2090 for whatever reason. And then like 1070 Ti came like a year later compared to all the other Pascal cards, along with the 1080 Ti, and that would be like a revision. So Nvidia is going back and saying, "Hey, we can make a better GPU for lower money now that a year has passed or whatever."
Well, no, technically the 1070 Ti was $50 more on the 1070.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is like it was better value than what originally came out. So,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Hello, I have a question. So I have a headset. Is there a way to use the audio and the mic only the audio is working? You probably have an issue with the cable you're using, like you're plugging a 2-pole into a 3-pole, or you haven't used a splitter properly. It's probably one of those things. So you can either go to the peripherals channel or the troubleshooting channel, and yeah. Can you tell me rules 1, 2, and 7 in the Discord? I think rule 1 is civility. Rule 2 is I don't know. I only know the rules that like are most commonly broken. That's rule 1, 3, and 4.
I can tell you firsthand, the mods don't follow the rules.
Hey, I try to. Okay, I try.
When you have like over 40,000.
Stop saying you tried to.
Hey, I try to. Okay, I know some of the other. I know some of the other mods. They play like they're above the rules, but like I typically
Angus,
try
bro,
to.
we all remember you breaking rules.
only rule, the only rule that I
one of the
break,
longest mod logs
look,
in the
the
server.
only rule that I break is rule 3, and that's I tell people to DM me, so it's outside the server. It's okay. All right.
Really
Not everybody can afford. Not everybody can afford to pay for Windows. Okay, so like,
Oh,
that's all that is.
you're treading on very light. Thin
So wait,
ice.
rules 1, 2, and 7 are apparently civility. Oh, rule 2 is trolling. Okay, rule 2 is trolling. Typically, when people are trolling, we lump that in with rule 4, which is spamming and annoying behavior. That's one of the biggest rules. It covers so many things. And then rule 7 is moderators may apply discretion where necessary. Oh yeah, that's the rule that basically says this is a dictatorship.
Yeah, that's where
that's every
seen that
Discord
one
server.
before.
Yeah, I've seen that there before. I've never
They
used
put
rule
that
7
there
yet.
so they can just.
Yeah, if they don't like you, they can box you in somewhere. Yeah.
They can.
They'll justify they don't have to follow the rules with number 7.
Yeah.
And
No, I mean
I've
I've seen some mods literally say like this isn't a democracy, and I'm like, sometimes that's funny, but sometimes that's like, I'm not really comfortable with people saying that.
I would like some recommendations.
Did you still recommend Turing post Turing refresh? Occasionally, like you use that on like really good sales, but typically no. Also, what is a bouncer? A bouncer is basically like a mini mod that specializes in voice chat. That's basically what it is. Is the Razer Viper Ultimate a good mouse? It is probably the best wireless mouse out there for that shape. Yeah. It's a top tier mouse.
Yeah.
Is it a mouse you should buy? Maybe not, because it's really expensive. Like pure value wise, there are definitely better value mice. But if you have all the money in the world, Viper Ultimate is one of the best wireless mice out there.
Definitely do not have all the money in the world, but I have no clue what to look at.
Okay. You know what? Normally I would tell you to bugger off to peripherals, but I have some time, so I guess I will talk about.
Yeah, I've been looking through the comprehensive mouse purchase guide.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Yeah, so me and Sid authored that, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's we have some pretty. There's like a mouse recommendations page of the current meta. Do you want wireless or wired? I mean, it honestly doesn't really matter, but you want wireless or wired?
I do want wireless because like cable management bothers me.
Okay. The thing about wireless versus wired is that it's kind of funny because back then, okay, the peripherals community is an example of how it's
elitism.
It's like good capitalism in action, which is not something you see very often. But like it's like market feedback creating a positive feedback loop that actually increases viability of products and makes them better for everyone and cheaper as well. Like if you went back 3 or 4 or 5 years, monitors, keyboards, and mice were in a much worse place than they are today. But a lot of these brands are actually taking feedback from consumers. Like Glorious is a good example of a brand that's been doing that. Razer has made a huge turnaround in their mice, and a lot of good keyboards are cropping up too from like Glorious and a bunch of relatively unknown brands. And it's pretty good. Like we're seeing a lot of features that you typically see in like high-end mice / keyboards come down to lower end products, and it's happening a lot faster than you would see in like, I don't know, from Intel or AMD or something like that. That being said, you know, Intel and AMD are working with a much higher level of complexity, but still, it's nice. It's nice. So yeah, I want to talk about wireless mice because you did bring that up. It's funny because wireless mice used to be like having no wire used to be a bigger benefit back then, but having a wireless mouse was actually a disadvantage back then. So what I mean by that is that wireless mice actually did have potentially noticeable latency issues, LOD issues, as well as interference issues, which they now no longer have. But at the time, cables were pretty bulky, heavy, and noticeable when you moved your mouse around. But now that the mouse industry kind of has moved in a good direction where they've made cables much lighter, much like better at not fraying, and just basically so light that you don't notice them, like the phantom cord and stuff like that. But wireless technology has gotten so much better that interference and latency is no longer an issue either. So honestly, wireless and wired mice are not that different these days because the cables are really light and the wireless is so good that it's basically wired levels of latency for like a human noticeable threshold. So honestly, you know, pick what you want. If cable management's an issue, there are a lot of good wireless mice out there, but just be aware for like the same level of quality, wired mice are going to be cheaper, and obviously there's a greater selection. So
right, okay,
yeah, just a little bit of mouse history there for you.
Mice.
Did you say that?
I have a question. Actually. Oh, sorry.
Wait, actually, no, I have no clue what I was about to ask. Never mind. Go ahead.
So I posted my link above my part picker. Everything but the GPU are not. Well, everything else purchased already. Those are stuff I own already.
Mhm.
I want to get a 3080, and I want to get a power supply.
Mhm.
I just need a recommendation.
Okay. Okay. If you want to spend around $100, get the Fantex Amp 650 watt or the Superflower LEDX 3 Gold 650 watt. They're around $100, both of them. And if you want to get an 850 watt unit, which you don't need for this build, your build will fit under 650. But if you do want a higher wattage power supply, just I don't know, for whatever
LEDX
reason,
3 on
just
sale.
to I don't know, make you feel better. It is like $30 more. There's a Revolution DF that's $130.
The minimum watt is
for
the 3080 750 watts. Yeah, I know. Minimum wattage specifications on graphics cards are always going to be higher than what's actually necessarily needed, but that's because Nvidia and AMD are doing two things. First, they are like estimating what CPU people will be typically pairing with these GPUs. So if you're getting like a 3080, you're probably going for like an Intel CPU, like a high-end Intel CPU or a high-end AMD CPU that draws a decent amount of power. So in that case, yeah, 750 watt might be a good minimum. And they're also accounting for people that buy off of wattage only and not quality. So there's a lot of power supplies out there that are relatively cheap that are high wattage but are shitty quality. And by setting your minimum wattage requirement high, you're kind of filtering out people that are potentially going to have issues with their system, because you can kind of insulate yourself from issues by going overkill on wattage. It's not something I recommend. I recommend people go overkill on quality instead of wattage, but that's kind of why they do that, because there's no single quality standard in the power supply community that's like standardized and regulated by a body. Like 80 plus is not quality, it's just efficiency, which is one extremely small component of quality. So
I know bronze, gold, platinum, titanium.
You know what I'd love? I'd love if Nvidia was like, you have to go at least tier B on the Linus Tech Tips tier list, but they're not going to do that, obviously.
But is the NZXT 850 watt good enough for 3080?
From what I remember, NZXT is just okay. It's not fantastic, but I can check what platform it uses.
So I want a fully modular one. That's
Aegis.
Okay, no, NZXT is better than I remembered. Okay, yeah, that's pretty okay.
And
then
it
uses the Seasonic platform.
But I still want RGB.
Aegis caught in Rule 3. Oh my God, Cloud, how could you do this to me? He's bringing up the scans.
Aegis. So which one is the best out of all those, all 850, all gold? They're like all the same price.
RevDF is a pretty good bet. I'm not looking at like some of the weird sales that are happening, but RevDF for 130 is a good bet.
Yeah, LEDX free is on sale, so.
Are there any documents with links to all the? Are there any documents with links to all the tier lists? Yeah, there are some, but they're incomplete and like. I find tier lists to only be useful to like build helpers that reference them correctly, because a lot of them are not explained correctly, and then people look at tier lists and then just interpret them wrong, and it does more harm than good.
Parroting.
Yeah.
So
hold on, let me scroll up and answer some of the other questions. Why is the 2060 Super dead, but the 2060 non-Super is less dead? Because the 2060 Super was killed by the 2070, but the 2060 wasn't killed by anything. Also because the upcoming GPUs, like the 3060 and whatever, are going to take the place of the 2060 Super. But the 2060 is not threatened by that price segment as much.
I killed the 2060.
Anyways, for wireless mice, Basilisk X Hyperspeed, Viper Ultimate, G Pro Wireless, G305, those are all good choices.
Wow, it's almost like they pulled that list right off of the comprehensive mouse purchase guide.
Yeah, because I wrote it with Sid, yeah. The CQ27G1, that used to be relevant for a very short time, but these days that monitor is not really relevant because IPS panels have gone down a lot in price. It's a decent secondary monitor if you can find it for like, $230 or something. Although there are cheaper Black Friday sale monitors for secondaries. Yeah. Does anybody have any recommendations for a good SSD 1TB? If you're buying right now, the Silicon Power A60 for like $93 a terabyte if you're buying closer to Black Friday, my recommendation will probably drastically change by then. Wait, why are people asking for 1440p? Is it like a meta? You mean like, is it meta? 1440p in the grand scheme of things is not that common. It's probably actually less common than 4K, if I think about it. But, I mean, in the gaming community, in our little community here, yeah, some people like 1440p. It's a good compromise.
I mean, honestly, though, it is almost
Well,
becoming
don't you
the meta
bottle
with
like more
3080 and 3070.
1080p, like with the newer CPUs and GPUs?
With the newer GPUs, yeah. But yeah, 1440p is a good compromise between 1080p and 4K. It's like you get increased visual detail than compared to 1080p, but it's not as taxing as 4K. And a big reason was also because 4K didn't have proper 144Hz panels for a long time. Only this year have they gotten proper DSC and lossless display communication, basically. Are there any document? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I already read that. What's the AIO tier list if the Arctic, EK, and S36 are all out of stock or unreasonably priced? EK DIO, cheap Ace Attack. I believe Be Quiet's like Pure Loop and Silent Loop are decent, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the pricing, honestly. Really depends on the pricing. You're awesome, bro. Keep the great streams. I have a question. Should I use the Crucial P2? Do you like it? I like it if it's well priced. Right now, at 1 terabyte, it's not well priced. At 500 gigs, it is. So, depends. That is a good SSD spreadsheet, by the way. The one that Cloud Chasers linked. It has some mistakes in it. I
Is it the new Max one?
Yes. I speak with its author kind of regularly. He's busy, so he doesn't have all the time in the world to update it. I am working on a much bigger spreadsheet that is going to be more comprehensive.
That is never going to be finished.
It's never going to be finished because I don't have a life. And yeah.
You have
Mousepad Master
literally
Sheet,
a
that's a good
year
one.
of your life to finish it and nothing else.
Let me read some of the chat. Thoughts on SN550? I don't know how its sustained write is. Why do you care about its sustained write? Yeah, why? It's rare that you run into people that actually care about sustained write on SSDs. Bugger off, yeah.
A good website to buy keys for Windows.
Rule 3, my guy. But if you need help installing Windows in the future, when you're done building your PC, DM me and I will help you activate Windows.
Well, it's not the OS. It's just like the key in general.
I understand.
That you buy.
I understand. Take the hint.
I know the rule. I saw the thing. I read it. I didn't think that was violating it, but I'll take it.
Yeah. So if you would like help activating Windows, and you don't want to buy Windows, I can help you activate Windows when you are done your build, and you can DM me when you're done building your PC. I can help you activate Windows at that time.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Also, I'm building a PC for my friend for around $400 and thoughts on parts. For $400, you're going to be going used. You can go new, but it's going to be tough. Actually, yeah, no, you can't fit a 10100 into $400 without, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Even with a used GPU. Falling asleep to Aegis' voice. Wow. Wow. Anyways.
Aegis, do build help now, but like do it in like a bedtime story voice.
Okay. I'll just do really close to my mic. I'll do ASMR. It'll be fun.
My gosh.
Welcome to Build Help. Today we're going to be talking about some SSDs. Juan has asked thoughts on the WD Blue SN550. He doesn't know anything about sustained writes and stuff, he says. Well, Juan, good question. The SN550 is an interesting budget SSD. Doesn't have DRAM, competes with the A60 and the P2, and the likes of the Mushkin Helix L. But the SN550 is usually quite expensive compared to those other drives, and doesn't have very different performance compared to those drives. And so, typically, the SN550 is not a relevant SSD in this day and age right now. Now, Black Friday may change that, because Western Digital often has some pretty nice Black Friday sales.
We're talking about Western Digital, not ASMR. Why are you talking like that?
But we'll see.
You ruined it, dude. I hope you enjoy it.
Damn, I was falling asleep. Why'd you
He's
stop?
like, so
I was
about
almost
this?
there,
He
man.
doesn't know
Yeah,
anything.
I was almost asleep.
My eyes were literally closed.
Oh, you're
I was
fine.
literally
Keep y'all
about to
awake,
fall
man.
asleep.
Gotta keep y'all awake.
ASMR Aegis. Guys,
I was
someone make
supposed
him
to
a
go to
YouTube
sleep
channel.
2 hours ago,
You're gonna have to start
and then I
uploading.
came on here, and I haven't.
EVGA BBQ.
I think.
Oh, by the way, if you need a B550 VRM spreadsheet, I can give that to you, Cloud. Fun fact, we will never be able to measure the one-way speed of light because we can never synchronize the clocks and stopwatches, so we have to use a mirror and measure the two-way speed of light. But due to asymmetry, light may travel faster in one direction and slower in the other. The equation in one direction will be E equals mc squared over... Isn't that just E equals mc? Your syntax here, it's confusing me. And the other will be E equals mc squared times 2. Oh, where is that times 2 supposed to go? I'm confused here. Anyways, yeah, you literally do have to measure light using a mirror, like, and using like redirect times and shit. It's kind of crazy. Like, I've seen how they do it at like this like research facility. They have like a huge ass fucking laser setup, and they have like they get it to travel like down this huge fucking tube, and it like reflects, and they measure the time it takes to like hit some other shit. I don't remember, honestly. Thanks for that interesting reply. Yeah, I'm an ASMR channel now. I'm gonna do the first PC building ASMR channel. It's gonna be
Guys,
amazing.
someone make Aegis' server name ASMR Aegis, please.
ASMR just. What would be a similar performance SSD to the SN750? Good question. The SK Hynix Gold P31, the Seagate Fire CUDA 510, the Samsung 980 Pro, 970 Pro, 970 Evo, 970 Plus, 960 Evo. Okay, there you go. That's all of them. There might be some other drives in the future, but that's most of them at this point. How much do you think a high-end PC budget would be in general as of now? I typically tell people that $1,500 US is the hard cutoff for where you should stop spending extra money on a gaming PC if all you care about is performance. And that's with a pretty decent looking case too. Okay, like it has RGB fans and everything. So like any money you spend over that is going to be wasted on aesthetics or whatever. I mean, not necessarily wasted because, you know, that's subjective value, but might be wasted. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Also, I gotta piss, so I'm going to... How do I... Hold on. Stream manager? Can I run a mid-roll ad while I'm pissing? Is that a thing?
He gets monetizing his own stream.
Hold on. Run 60-second ad break. Oh shit, I did it. Alright, I'm gonna go piss and come back.
How much money are you making?
No clue, but I'm pissing. That's all I care about.
Alright, let's watch this.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have an ad.
Let's see what ad is
on my
he promoting.
thing.
Let
Hold
me
on.
see.
Let's see what ad's gonna click it now.
Oh,
1,
it's a Burger King ad.
2, 3, 4, 5.
You're rushing his.
No, because there's a 10-second delay, so he. I still haven't gotten an ad. Okay, he's clicking around on this.
My budget, do you think is?
Hey,
think
I
my
got the
budget's
ad.
Yeah.
I got a card game ad. Oh, it's it's a car.
Sorry,
it's a
bro. I
car
was
ad.
just playing some NASCAR on the Xbox 360, bro. I think, based on what Aegis said, my budget is probably gonna be between 1,500 and 2K.
Back.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's
it's
up, nerds?
ASMR Aegis here. Sorry. I'm
Okay,
not
wait, did
whispering.
that actually work, like the ad thing? I have no idea.
I got an ad.
Oh, shit, sick.
Check your Twitch earnings now.
Oh wait, does it actually go up? That's pretty cool,
Check
actually.
your Twitch
No, you
earnings
just want
now.
an ad to
By the way,
promote
you can't
something
leak
for
your
no
Twitch earnings
value.
on stream. That gets you banned.
Bro, I got 50 whole cents from that. Let's go.
Augers.
50?
Got 50.
Augers,
That's
guys,
a
he
lot,
got
though.
2 quarters.
That's
Let's
a
go.
lot for 11 people. That's
Is
a
that
lot.
really?
You got 50 cents for peeing?
Yeah, 11 people watching, and you ran
No,
one
I don't
ad
think that
and
was
you have
50 cents. I don't think that was 50 cents, actually. Just kidding.
What about all the left skull subs?
All the
Well,
left
just
skull
think about it.
subs?
You
I have
made
no
money
idea.
while paying.
Yeah.
Just any money.
I made money while pissing, dude. Let's go.
Yeah. That's all you need.
Oh yeah.
Put that towards a new CPU.
You made
or graphics card.
$5.50 by pissing.
Also,
Yes.
is my AFK screen like okay? Like, can you see it properly?
Be back soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
it's fine. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that's like legible. Okay, we're good.
Yes, I know this is irrelevant, but do you know how to get cool Discord PC backgrounds?
Nope, no idea. Oh, you can use better Discord, but that's
Discord-
against TOS
Discord
kind of. So
clients.
yeah,
Wait, what?
just-
How is using clients against TOS?
Oh no, it is against TOS. Just any modification of the client is not allowed. So, just don't send
It is
people
not-
screenshots
it
of
is not
using
open
better
source.
Discord. That's basically it.
I've seen so many screenshots of people doing that.
I
like, that's
personally don't
anime
use better
backgrounds.
Discord because I don't really
Yeah, they
care
have
about any of
an-
its features.
Oh, you're on stream, right? So.
I mean,
Wait,
no, just
why
in
is it
general. Like, I've
against
never found a
TOS
reason
though?
to use it. Okay,
Why
let's
is it against TOS?
go and read some of this. Why is the Crucial P2 better than the cheaper than the P1?
Yes.
Circumstance. Also, I guess it uses a worse controller and no DRAM. It's kind of a more cost-effective solution.
RAM.
Okay.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, gamer?
What's up going on?
What's
going
better
on,
slash more
guys?
gamer
It's
friendly?
Spears here.
What's going on, guys?
1440p,
It's Spears here.
144. TN,
that
IPS,
meme.
or VA. Typically, we recommend IPS panels for 1440p, 144. TN is basically irrelevant, and VA is only good for secondaries these days. In other words,
So what does IPS
1500
do?
min-max is best. It might even be lower than that. Actually, your boy's about to make a 5600X list. Let's fucking
The
go.
boys.
My boy.
What's up, guys? It's your boy.
Cheers
If more
here.
Aegis here.
Oh
Kenny
my
Aegis.
god. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Canadian
Okay.
Aegis.
I'm actually gonna
Okay.
make a 5600
I'm actually
list
gonna make a-
right now.
Are you
love
going
that.
pure performance or
I'm going
RGB?
pure, like, this is the most you should spend on a PC build type beat. Alright, that's like 110. Or let's say 109.99, so we can be
Oh, he's
hip with the
streaming.
marketing
Gamer
nerds.
moment.
I
Okay.
actually did a new build 1500. Got some pretty good specs on it.
Well, yeah, 1500 would mean that you would get the best specs possible for gaming, but I'm
Well, I
about to
got the
lower that shit.
The 5600X with the 3070.
Hey guys, not the stream
motherboard.
snipe here, but RIZIING on Twitch. Go ahead and follow me.
Bro, damn.
Wow.
He really
Whoa,
just
self-promotion!
he really
Yeah,
just he
report
just he really just
promotion.
promoted himself
Yo,
on my
who's,
stream.
who's a mod?
Big sad.
Who's a mod? Get him on.
Bruh.
Okay.
Okay,
Let me see
then.
the list.
Actually, I'm going Silicon Power. I don't give a shit. Silicon.
I don't
Wait,
give
where's the
a
Silicon
fuck
Power?
about you.
Where'd it go? It's gone.
Let's do that bit I'm with
They're
you.
out of stock. Oh my god, that's crazy. I'm gonna cry, dude.
Epic gamer moment.
That's actually big Sag. Wow. Okay, I guess we're
Big
getting
sad guys.
crucial
Add sad meme
ballistics.
for Feels Badman's in the chat, guys. Feels Badman's in the chat.
Storage will put like, I don't know,
We
1
even have
terabyte
one of those?
of A60 goodness in here, you know. Put that in there. I don't care. Video card,
Sick,
we'll put
big.
a 3080 in there.
Silicon Power.
Bro, why does this have an ugly black background? What is PC Part Picker doing? They're tripping on some other shit right
Oh,
now.
what's a good width for a desk, a gaming desk, where I can put
Bro, it's
one monitor and
completely
just a
up to you,
PC?
Every time somebody asks me a
What-
question about like what size their desk should be, bro, it's your desk. I don't know what you're putting on that
Well,
shit.
like, is 55 inches enough to do one monitor and a PC next to it? without
Probably
putting-
55
4
inches
inches
sounds
enough,
like
guys?
a lot. I don't know. Where's my MB311L? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where
No
are
way.
you
You
guys?
Some
got the
questions real
shield.
quick.
Got the shield. Neo Air and Lanco 215.
Bro, it's out of stock. Are you serious right now? That's actual
what?
cringe.
Bruh.
MB311. Time to show Neo Air.
Hey Aegis,
Okay.
if I send you my specs, can you tell me if you think my VRM's gonna explode?
Maybe.
Maybe. No, I'll just let your PC die.
Okay, let's see how
Yeah.
much this costs. This
Yes.
costs $1450. So Ryzen 5000 hasn't made that much of a difference, but $1450. That's the answer. for a maxed out build.
I just helped a little kid out with his entire PC, like getting Windows on and everything.
Wow,
Aw,
good job.
Kenna, you're so thoughtful.
Wait, didn't you like just start doing this like yesterday?
Hold up.
What?
Emergency
Guys,
meeting.
Kenna makes some really good music. We were listening to bops earlier made by her, bro.
Poggers.
Oh yeah.
Poggers.
Is this PC build decent?
And that too. I literally helped him with his like
No,
installing
that's,
Windows and everything.
That is awful.
Did he have paid
That's
Windows?
Wi-Fi. That is pretty awful.
I did a little
Is
trick.
the Lee and Lee Land Cool 2 a good case for the price? It's okay.
Which
it's
one?
fine.
The mesh or the
Best 144 hertz monitor for the price. I mean,
What do you mean by that, Kenna?
probably the XG2405
Let's
right
just
now
say
from
I have
ViewSonic. It's like
some
$180.
tips, tricks.
Better give me those when I get my PC.
Yeah, if you
normal one, not the mesh.
if you're willing to wait
Yeah, the
for if you're willing
Can
to
you help
wait
me
for
out
Black
with that?
Friday, there's probably going to be
Sure.
better monitor
Don't pay
sales.
for Windows.
What's your opinion on this statement?
I won't.
I would rather have 100 FPS with 2% bottleneck than 200 FPS with 20% bottleneck.
Mathematically, it does not make
Wow,
sense.
he's a genius.
Mathematically, it was supposed
He's
to
a
be
genius.
10%.
Dude, imagine if it says he's a baby. Imagine if I came out of the womb saying shit like that, dude. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Math
I
be
mean,
like,
baby Aegis
what's
came
that
into
plus
the
10?
server
21?
By the
Okay,
way,
so
how
basically
they
what
do
I-
it is that essentially reflecting the wave to create a standard.
Oh,
and-
what I did is
Okay, thank you, Dark
I
World.
tricked
I
the
didn't
system
ask.
into thinking that he had Windows 8, and then
Thoughts on
basically
the P400A? Yeah, it is better value than the Mesh C.
Can we can go to a different channel?
Yeah.
Also, I'm
Built up
90% sure that the speed of light is a constant regardless of the frame of reference. I don't think so. Actually, no, yeah. No. It's no,
Speed
with
of light
frame
is
of
a
reference it
constant.
can no. You can go faster than the speed of light with a like a moving frame of reference as far as I'm aware. What is better for my build, P1 or P2? P2. Typically anyways. Okay, you said this is awful, so what should I change to make it good for under 1200?
Are you buying now?
You're not buying now, so I will talk to you when you are buying. Okay.
Okay.
Rising 2600 1070 on an A320. No, you're
A320.
fine.
Yeah, stock.
There
clock.
a 2600 draws very little power, and like
Yeah,
almost
that's
any
stock
A320 board.
especially.
Like getting to the point where your VRMs actually endanger your system or like become dangerously hot is actually very hard. So like, yeah, you're fine.
You don't need to know what I'm buying. Why do you care? Okay, Aegis, explain why you don't buy a list ahead of time.
I also have no obligation to help you, and I'm also doing this for free. So you can go away then. Is it worth it to expand my budget to get the 5600X? Kind of, maybe, sort of.
Nobody
Oh my god, hi
knows.
Mew. What's this? Oh, whoa, blush.
Oh,
Hi
whoa.
cutie. Look at little Mew. What a nice boy Mr. Mew is. The speed of light in vacuum is the same for all observers regardless of the motion of the light source or observer. Okay, so that's like the ceiling then. Mew is here to shit up the server? What do you mean, bro? Mew is nice. He's a good boy, okay? He's a nice boy. You don't need to know when I'm buying, like, why do you care? It's for your own good, dude. It's for your own good. That's all it is, bro. What's this screenshot? Let me see. Agreed. I'm using my Thermaltake TR2 that I bought in 2008. It's been in my Athlon FX8350 and now 3700X system. Yeah, for every anecdote where it's like, yeah, I scraped by the hands of fate and actually my shitty power supply is still working 10 years later, so you guys are wrong. There's like 10 other people who are complaining that their power supply fucking exploded. It's like... it's survivorship bias, which take bio, so
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what that means.
I
Actually,
don't
no,
even
that's
think
a
that's
psych
bio.
term, not a bio term. That's
I
a
don't
psych
even
term.
think that's bio. That's a
That's
lot of
psych.
a lot of
That's
fields have that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely psych. That is definitely survivorship bias. Yes, it is. That is definitely survivorship bias.
Yeah, but I
Um,
was saying, yeah.
should I wait till Black Friday / Cyber Monday to buy my parts, or wait even longer than that? If you can manage to wait, I would probably wait like maybe for the holiday season, like December, just for all of the supply to stabilize. The only reason why I'm saying mid-November is because a lot of people are horny for new parts right now. So like I kind of have to build a compromise between buying now and buying in December. And that compromise is waiting until slightly after the new AMD cards come out. And that's not a great time to buy either, but it's certainly better than now. So yeah. So
Hey,
that's
Ryu.
okay. Read the preview of survivorship bias. That is literally what I just said.
Survivorship bias
is the logical
or
error
survival
concentrating
bias.
on the people or things that made it past some selection process. The selection process being your power supply exploding. Okay. Some people are lucky enough for that not to happen to them. Some people that does happen. And it's like the people that it doesn't happen to, they're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. This power supply is actually fine. You guys are wrong. You guys are buying power supplies that are too expensive. You know, I have a cheap power supply and it's lasted me all these years. That's survivorship bias, okay? That is that is a classic survivorship bias example. So don't even try to fucking yeet on me, okay? I don't know what I said just there. Don't even try to flex on me like that, all right? Don't even. Don't at me. Actually, you can ping me. That's okay.
Wait, where are you guys chatting in?
We're in voice chat text. Yeah. Also, if you're new to this voice channel, because I think there's some new people here, I'm streaming this voice channel on Twitch, so if you say something, just be aware you're being streamed as usual, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, you know that's cap. What's cap? I'm not exactly sure when I'll be getting this, but probably this year. Classic. Classic.
Oh, hey, Zimar.
So it would be better to buy during any time in December. I would say around Christmas time, like holiday sale time, because I think
Didn't
people
you
will
just
be
say mid-November? Hold up.
No. I'm saying if you can manage to, like coming back during holiday season would be better. But the main reason why I'm telling people mid-November is because a lot of people urgently want a list. And if I tell them to wait, they don't want to come back in December. Like that's too long for them. So a good compromise is like mid-November. Please don't worry about the time I'm gonna buy. Just tell me the parts. That's all I want to hear. Okay, but like if I tell you the parts and you end up buying in 2 weeks, they may end up being bad parts. Future me may disagree with past me because I cannot predict the future. So no.
Why are you planning ahead? Are you submitting this to approval
if you get
for
me a time machine, I'll do it for you. Look, just get me a time machine and I'll make a list for you, okay? Because then I'll know what's gonna be good and what's not gonna be good, okay? How do I fix pink screening?
Why do you need
also?
it early? Are you
Use
sending
Flux.
it for
Use Flux,
confirmation?
that's how.
Okay, thanks.
Oh my gosh, use
Oh god, why are you
Flux.
sending me
Screen
Muffin Man
checked up.
screenshots? That guy's like, where has he been? 5600 XT memory speed update now beats out 2016 a bunch of
Oh,
games.
this is a silicon moment.
That's actually true though. Like,
yeah.
First of all,
how it was.
that was so old. Like that happened right when the 5600 XT launched. That's not like new. I thought this was like something he said in a server recently, and I was like, you know, like the jump from memory speed. It's not just memory speed actually. There was like power limit changes too on some cards, and yeah, it did push the 5600 XT from being a complete embarrassment to being actually viable. But like, again, it's like another 5700 XT versus 2070 situation. They're like within 5% of each other, which means no noticeable difference in any game. And pick the one that has better features, and the 2060 has better features. So does the 2070.
Oh no.
Nothing wrong with Muffin Man. I hope you're just referring to the Muffin Man of lore and not that Muffin Man, because that
The
Muffin Man definitely
lives on Drury-
definitely had problems.
So the Muffin Man who lived on Drury Lane, he's fine, but that Muffin Man,
that
nah.
Muffin Man, it was banned from the server for a reason. Is wait till then because of availability of parts, partially, and also for other reasons. There's also going to be better sales than what we have right now, and there's also new parts coming out, and we're going to have benchmarks, and we're going to have basically. I'm probably going to buy like very close to Black Friday or during the holiday season because I'm waiting for all of the issues to be resolved. Like right now, I may be suffering in Overwatch, playing at 40 FPS during team fights, even if I have all my settings turned down to low. And it's painful, but it's not like so bad that I'm literally like unplayable, right? So I'm willing to wait, and yeah, that's basically it.
Aren't you on integrated graphics?
Yeah, I'm on a 3400G, which is yeah. Most of physics is theoretical, and that's just a theory. Really long
game
string
theory. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the 11th dimension.
Tomorrow we're going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's for the 50th time.
If you say it is a theory and most of physics is theoretical, you're implying that it's not like a theory is essentially the highest like echelon of scientific proofs. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a theory is literally the most supported. The only reason why it's called a theory at all is not because it's like, oh, it's theoretical.
Gravity
It's like
is
maybe this is how it is. Maybe it's not like conspiracy theory. That's not how the word theory is used in that sense. It is literally the highest level of proof that you have. It's like the most supported, like all the evidence we have points towards this conclusion. It is a conclusion. It's the only reason why it's called a theory is because it's open. It's like ever since, I don't know, fucking like 400 years ago, we have the scientific method. Actually, that's probably before 400 years ago, but like you get my point. We have the scientific method, and you know, we're chilling. We're like, we might be wrong. I don't know. Might be wrong. Might be wrong on this shit. Dude, QM is fucking whack. If any of my viewers, which I don't think any of you study QM, but if any of my viewers are doing QM, I fucking respect you, dude. QM is fucking whack. It's
Quantum
whack.
mechanics.
Quantum mechanics is seriously fucking whack. It's like, so you know that thing you were learning earlier in like high school and like for the first 2 years of your like college degree? Yeah, fuck that shit. Just throw that out the window. Gravity's not real. It's actually just
gravity.
Gravity's just an interaction. It's not actually real. Fundamental forces? No, those are all actually the same thing. Yeah, it's not actually a real thing. It's like, okay, buddy, relax.
Guess I'll die then.
Guess I'll die. Let me just yeet the Higgs boson into a state of instability, and nice. We're all gonna die now.
Relatable.
There are 5
What
fundamental
keyboard
forces
is
there.
this?
Okay, we get it, Dark. We get it. Okay, we get it. You're a fucking nerd.
I love this graphic from the Red Dragon keyboard. Anti-ghosting will not cause program error.
Yo! Program error!
Programmer.
Yo, I took an L.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. It's just
I tried to flawless Crown of Sorrow and didn't.
Exactly, bro. Ryujin gets it, dude. Bro, Redbone is a fucking slapper, okay? Make no mistake. Oh my god. Oh god, no. No. Okay. Alright. No more of that. Okay, no please. Is the list better than before? I have no idea what your previous list looked like, so like I don't know. Maybe? I think?
I mean, does it look better? I mean, it doesn't look...
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember your list because I spent a decent amount of time on it. Yeah, it looks a
might
bit
not be
better. It
installed.
looks a bit better. Again, you know, come back in 2 weeks and I'll make you a better list. So, yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean,
EM, weak nuclear, strong nuclear, and gravitational. Actually, there's 4. So Dark literally corrected me with a wrong statement, and then realized he corrected me with a wrong statement. Dark, you're actually dumb. You're actually dumb, Dark World. The happiest the happiest thought in life is a man falling off a roof. Bro, what? What does that even mean? The happiest thought in life is a man falling off a roof? What?
Ryu, I don't know what
Albert Einstein fucking edgy, dude. I was here 8 hours ago and you still in voice? Yeah, I took a break, dude. I went home. I was I was in the thing. I was in the whatchamacallit thingamajigger, and then yeah. I don't know what I just said.
Ryu, Link.
I was outside, and then I went in the car, and I came home. Oh my god, Mew is named Owo now. He's an Owo kitten. You know what's whack though? How much charges actually matter? Okay, okay, buddy. Alright, I'm gonna head off. See you all, dude. See you,
Is
my
that a
guy.
commander pro? No, it's a lighting node pro.
Node
No,
Core?
it's a
More
Node
like
Core,
cringe.
actually.
Get a
What is
Node
that?
Pro,
Oh,
you loser.
my bad.
You loser.
No, honestly though, like for most people, the
That's a
Core is
fan
actually a
control?
better
What the fuck do you
system
need
than
that
the Node Pro
Is
and
the
the 6
H100i
Core, 'cause
Platinum
it takes
good?
less space.
I don't know. If it's cheap enough, maybe. Albert Einstein said the happiest thought in life is a man falling off a
What am I
roof.
gonna do, buy
Yeah, but
Corsair
like, what
LLs?
does he mean by that? Like, can you explain that?
Yes,
Like, what does he
Mark,
mean?
I'm an RGB nerd.
I understand that that's probably a real quote, but like, what does that actually mean? Aegis, like, what's the context for that? Aegis, why are you telling everybody to wait for 2 weeks? Because there's better Black Friday sales in 2 weeks, and then the new AMD GPUs are coming out, okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an
Okay.
SSD for $1 less.
Germans wouldn't know what humor is if it came and invaded and partitioned Berlin. What the fuck? Oh, that's deep. That's deep. Because the man won't feel his own weight, so it will feel like he was in space. Wait, so is he saying like he won't have like the weight of his own existence on him, or is this just like a meme about just feeling weightless and euphoric, like physical or mental or both? I don't know. That's weird.
State of Spain, but without
Bro,
the S.
you can feel like you don't have any weight by going in like one of those fucking zero gravity airplane things where they fly you like upwards. No.
And then
They
go
fly you
down really
downwards
fast.
like at a 45-degree angle, like really fast, and you basically just float around in the plane. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, like exactly what Dark World said. Yeah. Me and Dark World are big brain. We just thought of the same thing. Exactly. 727 diving down. Do you know the PC YouTuber Gabe Itch?
Yo,
And
Dark World
is he-
Angus alt confirmed.
Dude, wait, is he trying to make me say something bad in German? Because Gabe Itch sounds like German, and like this seems like the
No,
type of bait where it's like, is it an actual person?
Okay, am I the only one that hears this?
Here's what.
You think gay bitch?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god. Ah, you fucking got me.
Vegas, you gotta
fucking
stop
got me.
falling for these types of things.
Okay, anytime I think I'm gonna get baited, I gotta be like Gabe Itch. No, and then
Wait,
fucking Cloud Chaser's gonna edit the audio so it's like right next to each other. I'm gonna get caught. Is 10700K better than 9900K? Yes. They're both very similar, but 10700K is cheaper. It has better thermals. And it's guaranteed to be new stepping with the Spectre and Meltdown V2 mitigations baked right into that bitch. Let's go.
Or just get a Zen
Baked
3.
into the bitch. Oh yeah. I don't know why I'm saying this shit. Baked into the bitch. I don't know how you bake something into a bit. I'm fucking confusing.
Yo, I can't wait for Rocket Lake on 14 nanometer plus.
On 10 nanometer now?
Man, it's the same thing for Intel. Let's be real here.
Oh my god, Ben. Ben is a silly boy. So during the duration of this Extra Life stream event, the bouncers had access to the admin voice channel, which is typically we can't see. And now Ben is saying, can someone take the admin VC away because now the need is gone? I'm like, Ben, you weren't supposed to tell them, okay? How are we supposed to snoop in and eavesdrop on the admin conversations now, Ben? What are you doing, Ben? Do you think they will have stocks of the 3070 before Christmas? They're having stocks of the 3070 right now. They just sell out basically instantly. So like, if you mean like readily available stock, no. If you mean stock in general that you can buy, if you're diligent enough, you can definitely get a 3070 before Christmas. Probably in a couple weeks, within a couple weeks if you try hard enough. Also, boys. I have not seen the news today. Let's go. Tech power up, AnandTech. I'm gonna look at the news. Wait, isn't today Saturday? Okay, never mind. There's no news. Yeah, kind of lame. Never mind. No news. Anything on Reddit? We have Reddit. Oh yeah. I want to talk about one thing actually. So, cut the stream. Why? Did something happen? Okay. Oh yeah, I watched this interview. This interview is so boring. Like I watched 30 minutes of it and I had to be like, I'm out. Like, oh my god, it's like Buildzoid level like density of information, which is like 30 seconds of useful information spread out across the format of like an entire hour, which is like.
Wait, Aegis, isn't that
Actually, no,
just
Buildzoid
you?
is definitely more informative than.
Isn't
than
that
this
just
fucking
how you
interview.
explain things?
No, but like I actually pack it with like actually relevant information. Actually, no. It's good information, but it's not necessarily relevant. But okay, this
Throwing a
fucking
funny here and there.
dude, this interview, I swear to God, dude, it's actually so boring. Like, I don't even think it's the interviewee's fault. Like the interviewer, this Gordon dude, he asked the most like basic ass questions that you can Google. Like, you have a literal Intel employee here who wrote the Intel ATX 12 volt only spec. You have a very valuable person on your hands for an hour interview. And he asked the fucking, he spent the first 15 minutes of the interview going over what power supply rails are. Like, bro.
Nobody cares.
Bro. So literally all I got out of this video was that like, nothing. Like I typically in an hour-long video like this, I get at least something out of the video, but I got literally nothing that I didn't already know about ATX 12 volt only, which is not that much. Like, I know enough to fill maybe a couple paragraphs when it comes to ATX 12 volt only. And like this, it's saying something that this video literally doesn't cover more than a couple paragraphs worth of information. Like, in fact, I know stuff about ATX 12 volt only that's not even in this freaking video. It's like yeah, I just God. Any other important bits over here? AMD Ryzen 4 versus 2 sticks of RAM on 5600X for up to 10% better performance. Okay. Does he have an article version of this?
gigabytes, which is clearly more than
No,
enough.
it doesn't. Okay. Memory usage? Okay. Important explanation and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. 5600X stock literally loses performance. I'm assuming that's what the important explanation is, but I'm not gonna I'm bored, so I'm not gonna look at that. 6-core 12. He says up to 10%. Where is it getting 10% gains? By using quad dim config. Certainly not here. It's losing performance in most games. That's fucking whack. Okay. There it goes again. Okay, so 8 gig X4. That doesn't seem like a 10% gain at all. So, okay. GTA 5. Literally loses performance at stock. Okay. Okay, is this the 10%? No, because that would need to be 15. Yeah, okay, so no. Where is this thing gaining 10%? Okay, so that loses performance. What about here? What does it gain? It loses performance. Why is it losing performance in literally everything? I'm so confused. The 5600X is losing performance by overclocking the memory in literally everything here. What? Yeah, this is whack. I mean, okay, yeah, this is weird. This doesn't mean it's always better. Okay, is this video even useful? Okay, I want to see the comments because maybe they're gonna point out something that I didn't see. Why some reviewers had Zen 3 performing. We'll actually start using force lots. Blah blah. What's the conclusion? Okay, let me watch the conclusion on 2x speed. Here we go.
You have a 2000 F clock, then awesome, you're probably in good shape there, but we couldn't get to 2000 F clock. So anyway, timings obviously matter. That's a completely different content piece that we are also working on. But the one here today shows that 4x8 for real has an impact where you can improve upwards of 8% in games, sometimes 9 to 10% in some more memory bandwidth sensitive production workloads. So all of this is to say that even though we more manually control the timing for
850 for the whole setup
even
is
allowing some more auto
rough.
timing control in the other sticks wasn't enough to explain the differences we saw, and it came down to
Probably
the
have-
sticks in the
I
system.
think
So that
they're
sanity check
gonna
of installing the review kit and removing 2 sticks and then controlling the timings the exact same way we do for the reviews, that's what proved the difference of 4x8 being better here. Logically, running 2 sticks should be more
I
stable.
didn't even hear what he said. One sec.
But we couldn't get to 2000 clock. So anyway, timings obviously matter. That's a completely different to 10% in some more memory bandwidth sensitive production workloads. So all of this is to say that even though we more manually control the timings for our 3200 review kit, Even allowing some more auto timing control in the other kits wasn't enough to explain the differences we saw, and it came down to the amount of sticks in the system. So that sanity check of installing the review kit and removing 2 sticks, and then controlling the timings the exact same way we do for the reviews, that's what proved the difference of 4x8 being better here. Logically, running 2 sticks should be more stable and equal, if not better in performance, to 4 on a lot of the previous platforms. These CPUs aren't capable of running memory in quad channel, and using only 2 sticks still allows for dual channel. Adding more sticks of memory should just make it harder to synchronize and maintain clock speeds. At this point, a quick reminder as well that with channeling, so speaking dual versus quad as kind of a separate aside, there's really no such thing as dual channel memory or quad channel mode or dual channel mode. It's just dual channel or quad channel, and the platform itself is what dictates that. So you're talking CPU plus motherboard, that gets you either dual channel or quad channel. You'll often see memory, especially on Newegg, in the spec sheet listed as quote-unquote quad channel memory, and all that really means is they're selling you 4 sticks. It doesn't mean that it is specifically compatible to be run with a 4x config, whereas a 2x config would only ever be able to do dual channel. That's not how it works. If you buy 2 sets of 2 sticks of quote-unquote dual channel memory on Newegg, bit misleading on how they present the channeling of the memory, because it doesn't really have any. It's just a platform, and then the memory is a number of sticks. So after all this testing, we called Wendell from Level 1 Techs, and we asked if he'd seen anything similar, and you should subscribe to his channel if you're not already. He immediately said yes. In Wendell's experience, behavior has changed in Ryzen 5000. 4 sticks of single rank 8GB memory performs better than 2, and 2 sticks of single rank 16GB memory performs best of all in Wendell's experience. We have relatively few sticks of single rank 16GB memory.
Wait, so is this literally just rank interleaving? Yeah, okay, that's okay. That's exactly what okay, alright. Well, whack. But like in his benchmarks, it doesn't seem like it's any better really. Like, that's basically negligible. And you're doubling. Oh no, it's 4x8. So compared to what? Where's 2x8? Oh, okay, I get it now. I'm comparing it to the wrong thing. Okay, so this is the actual like thing I should be comparing it to. Yeah, it seems negligible, honestly. Cool. Okay, it's rank interleaving. Cool. Epic gamer moment. Nice. Okay. Well. Yep, never mind. That was a pretty boring video. Well.
Hey, yo, no one snitch.
No.
Alright, well, I think that is basically it for today. I will
Oh, is
see
it
you
bedtime for Angus?
guys tomorrow, I guess.
Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's literally just rank interleaving. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I'm probably
Read
gonna
us a
go...
bedtime story.
A bedtime story? Okay.
Yeah, Cube needs one.
Cube needs one? Okay.
Read Goodnight Moon.
Cube
Let's read
sleep into
Ryan's
Aegis'
list.
voice. I need to sleep.
Here,
I need to
I
find
got- I got a link for Goodnight Moon just for
recording
you.
of Aegis saying "you're." There you go. I said "you're." What are you doing? Are you gonna make one of those, like, you know those memes where like they get Donald Trump and they chop up all his words and they make him say like weird shit? Or, like
I
sing
got you right
like
there. It's a
sing like the
PDF of
Russian
Goodnight
anthem and
Moon.
shit? Yeah. Are you gonna make one of those for me? Are you gonna make me, like, I don't know, sing the national anthem or some shit? I'm gonna be scared. Whoa. This man just asked him to fuck him in the ass. Jesus, okay. Say you're
Bro?
You're redacted?
You're redacted.
You're redacted. Yeah, you're redacted, buddy. Look at you, looking all redacted.
Aw.
Alright. Alright, Cubex, I'll give you a bedtime story. Alright. What should we make the bedtime story about?
Bro, I linked Goodnight Moon. Just read that.
What is
No.
Goodnight Moon?
Okay. Read a horror story. No. Read the getting shanked story to Cubex.
You want me to read?
Yes.
Okay.
Just read Goodnight Moon.
No, that's too long. That's too long. I'll read Goodnight Moon to Cubex. Okay, you ready?
Nice.
Here we go.
Oh no, bro! Get the roll.
Yo, someone clip this.
This story is called Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Wait, there's no like hidden messages in this book, right? Or in this little
No.
story here, right? Okay,
There's
good.
no- there's no
Am I gonna
pictures.
accidentally read like some sort of like? Oh god,
Gonna get
am I gonna like
rickrolled.
get reported for hate speech?
Gonna get rickrolled.
Okay, you ready, Cubex? Here we go. In the great no, fuck, I already messed up. Okay. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs and 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse and a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light on the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. And good night, mittens. Good night, clocks. And good night, socks. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. Good night, comb. And good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady, whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air.
The moon.
Good night, noises. That shit was long, dude.
Moon down.
Oh my gosh.
Bow. I'm still going there. That was
Wait,
beautiful.
hold on. This is kind of important. Dark World just sent me something. EE Times Asia. Apparently, DDR5 on both Intel and AMD platforms is being delayed to 2022, which is
bomb.
Actually kind of expected. Yeah, Alder Lake is supposed to be 2022. Or actually, Meteor Lake was supposed to be 2022. But Alder Lake is supposedly like late 21, early 22. Expected. And Zen 4 is obviously going to be early 2022. So like, not that. I mean... Okay, actually, no, this is going to affect server. Yeah, this is going to affect server. Because server was supposed to have DDR5 earlier. So, yeah, like Sapphire Rapids was supposed to have DDR5 earlier. Unlucky. Unlucky. But not a big deal. Not a big deal. Oh, that's my Twitch overlay. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed the stream.
Good night.
Wait, Angus, read me a bedtime story.
I read that was for everybody. Okay, that was for
No, it wasn't. That was for Quebec only.
No, that was for everybody. Okay, I'm no
No, it
more
wasn't.
bedtime stories. All right, you nerds, no more bedtime
Angus, we
stories.
need you to read.
No.
Angus, we
Okay,
need you to
maybe
read a
tomorrow.
Lovecraft
Maybe
story live
tomorrow.
on
Maybe
stream.
tomorrow we'll do it different. Oh, I kind of want to read the Navy SEAL copy pasta. I'll read the Navy. I kind of want to do that actually.
We know ASMR Angus, and then I'll ad lib it to make it even
No,
more.
don't ban him. Don't don't ban. No. Mute is cute. No ban.
Wait, when are you getting banned?
Moderation voice
Oh,
chat.
fuck your mod. Okay, all right. I'm gonna read the Navy SEAL copy pasta. All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna read it in like a really sensual way, though. You guys ready?
Bro, I'm gonna ruin this sensual vibe.
All right, hold on. Let me just make sure there's nothing like there's no like slurs in here, right? I don't remember exactly.
Bow.
Delete the VOD.
Okay, yeah. No, okay,
Angus,
there's
bro,
no.
we
Okay,
got
yeah. There's no slurs in here. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, bot. Oh god.
Increase the bit
All
rate.
right.
Increase the bit rate.
What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know, I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al Qaeda, and I've over 300 confirmed kills. I'm trained in guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top sniper in the entire U.S. Armed Forces. You are nothing to me, but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I am contacting my secret network of spies across the USA, and your IP is being traced right now. What the fuck are you doing, dude? What the fuck are you doing in the background? Bro, I'm not rapping.
You are.
I'm not rapping, bro.
You spit bars.
No, bro, I'm not rapping. These aren't bars, bro. I'm threatening someone, bro. You gotta...
Bars.
Bro, chill. Okay, hold up.
It's just ain't lyrics. I really did.
The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways. And that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I will use its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you, maybe you would have held your fucking tongue, but you couldn't. You didn't. And now you're paying the price. You goddamn idiot. I will shit fury all over you, and you will drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Ooh woo oh whoa. I had to add that shit at the end. I had to, bro. Okay. Well, Yep.
I like that bedtime story.
Okay. Well, that's all the memeing today. I will see you guys tomorrow. And Dark, come to the games channel. I need to tell you something. And I'll see you guys later. So I love you all.